Good morning. We were about 15 minutes away from kickstarting the conference off. We'll have Mr. Francisco Almaraz, our CEO from Workforce Solutions, doing a welcoming, and then we'll transition into a keynote speaker, and then you can break out into different sessions and watch the career exploration. This particular track is being also broadcast on YouTube Live at our WF Solutions channel. Again, we'll be starting in about 15 minutes. Thank you so much for joining this morning. Good morning. My name is David Gutierrez. I'm the Education Relations Supervisor for Workforce Solutions. Thank you so much for joining us. It's 8:30. We're going to go ahead and get started. So thank you all for joining us for day one of the career exploration. First off, I wanted to introduce our CEO, Mr. Francisco Amaraz, who's going to give us a few words to welcome us for day one. And then after Mr. Amaraz, we're going to transition over to our keynote speaker, Mr. Martinez White. Mr. Amaraz, are you on?
I am.
All right, sir, it's all yours, sir.
Thank you, David. Well, good morning. On behalf of Workforce Solutions, I want to welcome everyone to the virtual 2020 Youth Career Conference. We are living in extraordinary times, and students, teachers, and school districts have been able to adapt and have shown a great deal of resilience as we all work together and do our part to combat COVID-19. It would have been great to have held this conference in person, but because of the pandemic, we are having a virtual career conference. We have received over 2,500 registrations for this event, which is really incredible. Events like this take a lot of planning and a lot of teamwork. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Workforce Solutions staff that have helped organize this event. Our education team lead, Mr. David Gutierrez, thank you for your leadership. And our workforce outreach specialist, Ms. Yesenia Garcia, Ms. Irene Garcia, and Ms. Jasmine Hernandez. They've done an amazing job. I also want to thank Mr. Sergio Contreras, President and CEO of the RGV Partnership, for his support in engaging the business community. Workforce Solutions is committed to helping students make informed decisions about future careers. And we want to make sure you are prepared for those careers. Our workforce outreach specialists work with you and your teachers to help you better prepare for your career choice. They provide soft skills training, including job search, interview skills, financial literacy, and of course, information that allows you to explore career opportunities and help guide you to a career that is right for you. The workforce outreach specialists are enthusiastic about their work, and it shows by the relationships they have built with you and your teachers. Today's youth conference has 3 tracks: career exploration, soft skills, and parental engagement, each designed to provide you with information you will need as you work on planning your future. We also want to make sure to provide your parents with information on financial aid, career information and planning process, and stress management. So if your parents don't know about this conference, please invite them to participate. Thank you for choosing to be here, and I hope you take with you a better understanding about the resources available that will help you find success in your careers. And remember, Workforce Solutions is always here to help you make decisions about your future careers. Best of luck and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amaraz. We greatly appreciate you taking some time out this morning to welcome everyone to this to day one. Amazing words of encouragement and getting us ready for what's to come in the next couple of hours. Again, if you are watching this, just to let you know, we are also streaming on YouTube Live, if you'd like to join us through that link as well. So next up, we have our keynote speaker, Mr. Martinez White. Mr. Martinez White is an Emmy Award recipient, founding member of the Wisconsin Association of Black Men, and CEO of Intuition Productions. Upholds the belief that dreams are made to be achieved. As a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, White's mission is to empower 1 billion people to join his dream circle by self-actualization, their dreams, and living their most abundant destiny. Living in Mombasa, Kenya, and volunteering at Alicia Keys' Keep a Child Alive campaign, BOMU Medical Center, fighting HIV, AIDS, pandemic, fever, change White's world perspective. As a licensed investment advisor, Mr. White teaches clients how to create intergenerational financial freedom, regardless of socioeconomic class. He believes entrepreneurship, the monetization of artistic gifts, is the best defense against institutionalized racism. Based on this belief, at just 16 years old, White emerged from a single-parent home of 6 children in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Against all odds, White earned his Bachelor of Arts in Communication of Arts and Afro-American Studies from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. As a People and Chancellor Scholar at a mere 20 years old, a DJ, filmmaker, and author, White inspires us all through the power of his unparalleled style of multimedia storytelling. If you want it done right, get M. White. So with no further ado, I want to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. White. Mr. White, are you on?
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. Can you see me? You cannot see me, but you can hear me. What's going on? Good morning, David. Mr. Gutierrez. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody that's on the call. I hope Flora is around. I want to say good morning to her. I got a chance to meet her last week, and I'm excited. So I'm ready to get going. This is a beautiful morning. It's an amazing day to be alive. Wouldn't you agree? Today is a perfect day for us to get together, for the stars to align, for us to talk about what it means to go from poverty to prosperity, how to go from a mindset of lack and a mindset of don't have, and a mindset of can't get, to a mindset of abundance and overflowing. And so I'm excited. I'm just ready for my video to be turned on. I'm yours truly, M. White, Martinez White. Some folks call me DJ M. White. Call me anything you want. Just don't call me a failure. But I'm excited to chat with you guys this morning. So if you can go ahead and turn my video on, that'll be perfect. Anybody that's in the room today, if there's any ideas that you have in your mind about not making it or not being able to manifest your destiny, we're going to put that to the side this morning. Today is the day that we choose our destiny. Today is the day that we make a decision. Today is the day that we pick a tempo. So I do want to have the opportunity to have my video going on. Is that going to be possible, David?
Mr. White, I believe you have co-hosting ability. I think you can share your video.
Let me see here. So you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it. So it looks like the meeting alert says that you stopped my video. And if we can't get video, I can just keep going. That's completely fine. That's the note I have on my screen that, and we know we all live in a virtual world. I've been using Zoom for about 2 years. So it looks like you haven't got a chance to.
Yeah, at this time, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties with that, Mr. White. We apologize.
Okay. Well, all you need to know is I look excellent and I smell amazing. How about that? I look outstanding and I smell splendid. I'm excited to connect with you guys this morning, not only because today is the best day for us to jump, just jump. Today is the best day for us to jump. Today is the best day for us to go ahead and jump and the net will appear. We have to drop our first record. If we're going to think that our lives are, going to be smooth and just kind of going to be perfect, that's the wrong story. Because the reality is life is going to continue to turn like a turntable. It's going to continue to rotate like a record on a turntable. That's what I mean when I say think like a DJ. I'm an author of a book entitled Think Like a DJ, 7 Steps to Spin Poverty into Prosperity. And that's what I mean by that. Life is going to throw you in the mix. You're going to get thrown in the mix as you continue to go through life. You may already be deep in the mix, but we need you to catch your rhythm. We need you to focus on what's most important, because eventually, not only do you want to pick your tempo, you want to get to the point where you drop your first record, where you feel the beat, where you catch the groove in your educational track. And then you got to continue to spin hits, keep spinning hits. As you keep spinning hits, we ultimately get to the point where as we spin hits, we feel the dance floor. Keep spinning hits is residual excellence. Continue to show up and be your best person. Continue to show up and be your best successful self, no matter what's going on around you. Because as we feel the dance floor and we draw people towards our dream circle, we're going to get people on our dance floor to dance for us, because we have to rock our party. Your life is the party. You are the DJ. You are in masterful control of your destiny. And that's what I want to talk a little bit about. My name is Martinez White. As mentioned before, I'm a UW-Madison, the University of Wisconsin-Madison graduate. I went to college. I started college at 16 years old. And I didn't know that was going to be the case in my life, but I had the sweat equity and I had the hard work to exchange for a 16-year-old seat at a collegiate level. My mom raised me and my 4 brothers and my sisters. My mom raised 6 of us by herself. She's a single mom, a Black woman up here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, one of the most segregated areas in our country. And my mom is somebody that I believed in because she believed in me. She believed in me to the point where my mom sent me over to Africa. My mom, I want to talk a little bit about that. What happened when my mom sent me to Africa? My mom is someone that believed in me when I was a little boy. When my dad passed away at 3 years old, I lost my father as a young man, and my mom was there for me the entire time. So I want to, uplift my mother. I want to uplift the women on the call. I want to uplift the current mothers and the current women on the call. I want to uplift our future generations that are going to continue to help us raise ourselves from a level of poverty to a level of prosperity like my mom did for me. So I'm excited. I'm from Milwaukee. I got a chance to go to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, graduated as a Chancellor Scholar, got introduced to the UW system as a people program scholar. And what that means is basically you get into the groove of life, and the people program introduces you to other young people around you so that you can build your network and you can go north. People stands for Pre-College Enrichment Opportunity Program for Learning Excellence. That's what it was. And that's where you guys are right now. You have the opportunity to grasp your destiny. You have the opportunity to manifest who it is that you're eventually going to become by being here today at Career Day, being here today at Youth Day, and being a part of the Workforce Solutions Program. So I want to talk a little bit about my trajectory, where I started, how I envisioned my lifestyle so I could get to this level, and how I was able to do it by thinking like a DJ. So I want to tell you a couple stories, and I want to talk to you about one thing that's very important to me. I want to speak with you this morning about fear. Fear for me is just an acronym. There's so much fear in our culture today. You as a young person may be afraid of your next step in your career. You may be afraid of the next step if you're a middle school student graduating high school. That was me. I went to high school. I was 12 years old. I almost didn't get a chance to get admitted to a high school. I had to find a special school that would admit me at the young age because I was so young, so immature, and not understanding the environment that I would be in. But lo and behold, I got admitted to the University of Wisconsin. I graduated from high school at 16. I started college at 16, and I was able to graduate by the time I was 20 years old. And that's because I believed in myself, and I knew that dreams were made to be achieved. So I want to tell you a little story, and I want to dive a little bit deeper. So I don't think many of you guys can respond to me, but I know you can hear me. So if you want me to go deeper, say go deeper. If you want me to go deeper this morning, say go deeper.
Go deeper.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to go deeper. So it was 2009. I was studying abroad. I was living in Nairobi when it hit me. I was living in Nairobi, Kenya. Fear cannot compete with purpose. I had gone to see the 14 Falls. It was a lethal group of waterfalls in central Kenya. And here I was now. I was walking across these waterfalls, clenching hands with people on either side of me, stepping foot, one rock at a time, rock by rock. It was all 10 of us. And then fear showed up. Fear showed up. And I started to believe, what's going on? Fear, is this what, is this how my life is going to be? Am I going to live in fear? Until I later found out that fear is just an acronym for forget everything and rise. F-E-A-R, forget everything. Forget everything you've been told about yourself. Forget the people that said you couldn't do it. Forget the folks that tried to drag you down. Forget the crabs in the bucket mentality. Forget the poverty, the impoverished mentality. We have to forget those things, forget everything and rise. I was terrified. There was a fluttering anxiety. There was a uneasiness, what I may call a queasiness, fragility, ambiguity, anxiety, and trepidation. All of these things snuck up on me as I was walking across this 14 Falls waterfall. I had not felt this feeling before. I hadn't felt it since my mom's, her decorative vase, the one that we know our mom have, the one that her favorite one, the one that she thought was gonna last her forever throughout the years, until that vase was broken by one of me and my 4 brothers during an in-home wrestling match. I wasn't that scared since then. I thought, just like when my mom somehow found out about her vase, I thought to myself in this waterfall, am I gonna die here? Am I gonna die here? How did a friendly invitation to see the 14 Falls turn into me walking across the 14 Falls? Water violently rushed past my feeble ankles, my bare feet, my toes were cramping, clinging onto the rocks underneath them. I was so scared. Every step was infused with uncertainty. How did adventure turn into anxiety? How did just a desire turn into fear? Some of us have desires of our dreams. How do our dreams and our desires turn into fear? What business did I have walking across this waterfall? Finally, through my shaking hands, it occurred to me. It occurred to me like a bright idea. I was only scared because I had given my heart permission to be distracted by fear. This idea that the monster's gonna get me, or my opportunities won't happen, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not successful enough. All of those things creep up when we start to think about fear. We have to forget everything and rise. And I was thinking to myself, I was focusing on my purpose. And I was like, that's the only thing that's going to get me across this waterfall was purpose. That's the only thing that's going to get me from step to step, holding hands with 10 other people. That's going to get me 500 feet across from one side of this waterfall to the next. Now, as middle school and high school students, parents and administrators and educational support staff, all of us, we may feel some type of fear. You may feel the water rushing beneath you right now. You may feel it right now on this call this morning because of our current socio-political stratosphere and our recent downturn in enthusiasm for education. You may feel fear of the unknown, fear of the known, fear of the job market, or fear of a student loan, or fear of the future, fear of the past. You may even be fearful of being a political outcast. Cultural anxiety, as you know as well as I know, is at an all-time high. Although we've heard these things will get better, some may fear that that's just a lie, that it may not ever get better. Fear of climate change, fear of being worthless. But let me remind you that fear cannot compete with purpose. The time between your birthday and your death day is a process. Your birthday and your death day, all of that time in between, there's a process for you as a young person to discover your purpose and then act on that purpose. Now I gotta ask you, will you die not having, reached your full potential? Having only lived half the life that you were designed for? Having climbed half the heights that you were destined to? Is your heart gonna be seduced into giving up its courage? Has someone or something or some factor or something around you, has it kind of stolen your wonder? Have you gotten into a place where you feel like your volume is turned down, or somebody has discounted your destiny? Is that you this morning? You tell me. The fact that you're here today at Youth Day seeking workforce solutions for yourself and your family and your community, that serves enough proof that you possess everything you need to. You possess the persistence that it takes to achieve. Not only have you overcome obstacles to be here this morning, I'm sure you've overcome an obstacle so I couldn't even get my video on. I'm sure you had other obstacles to get you here to this point. Not only have you overcome those obstacles to be here this morning, foreseen or unseen, but you've kept your peace of mind. You've remained humble, you've remained hungry, and you've put yourself in a position where you can painstakingly get through pain and actually work through and arrive here today so you can celebrate yourself, your family, your accomplishments. Because of you, as a young person, the future is anew. Just because of you, the future is brighter. Now, I gotta say, what challenges most of us more than anything is it's not the condition that we currently live. It's not the fear of the condition and the environment that we currently live. It's not the time in history that we've approached. It's the disappointment of allowing fear to rob us of our dreams. Because the reality is our dreams don't die. Our ambitions don't die. You sitting here today, you on this call, you have a dream, you have an ambition, you have a vision for yourself. That thing is going to stay alive. The only thing that may die is not our dreams. It's our desire for our dreams to become successful. And as you get older, as you age, as you get through middle school, you get through high school, you get through college, you become a working adult, you get, deep into your career, your dreams are still going to be there. We need your desire to match your dreams. We need your actions. We need your attitudes, values, goals, ethics, everything, your morals to align with your ultimate dream. That's how we manifest it. So we cannot let it happen. We cannot let our dreams go to the wayside. We cannot let ourselves get older and get to the point where our dreams are going to haunt us, because our dreams are not going to go anywhere. They're going to continue to be there. The dream that I still have for myself is still here. I've been working on the same thing for 15 years. Since I was a young kid, I've been working on the same dream. I've been working to manifest the same thing. It hasn't gone anywhere. Trust me when I tell you, your dream is not going to go anywhere. What may go away is just your ambition and your desire. We cannot let that happen. We must instead fulfill those dreams via the power of purpose. The why. Why are you doing these things? Why is it important for you to be successful? Who do you want to win for? Is it just you? Or is it your family? Is it your friends? Dreams are made to be achieved, not to sit on the shelf. You don't want your dream just sitting on the shelf somewhere. We don't want our dream to be arrested by fear. We need to ascend and transcend past fear with the power of purpose. We need to be not shot down by fear. We will reach our destiny with peace, and prosperity is going to be our reward. Because I tell you one thing for sure, my dad passed away when I was 4 years old. I lost my father as a little boy. And I can tell you one thing for sure about losing your dad and losing parents. Some of us have lost people close to us. The reality is that the graveyard itself is the most expensive real estate. There are a lot of dead people with rich ideas. Don't take your goals to the grave. Don't let fear deflate your dreams. Fear is just an illusion. Fear is an illusion. Fear is an illusion. Purpose is real. Purpose is actuality. Purpose is real. Fear is an illusion. Over the next 4 days, I need all of you youth on this call. I need all you young folks. I need all of you middle school students, all of you high school students, all of you folks that want to graduate to a new level. I need you to grab your dream off the shelf. Step into the unknown. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Feel the fear. Be afraid. That's okay. But forget everything and rise. Trust your bigger self. Trust your deepest intuition and believe that you instinctively know where you already desire to be. Know that being lost, if you lost, is just a code for rerouting. If you lost in the car and the GPS kick in, it's going to tell you rerouting. If you don't know where to go, you'll make the road by walking the road. Continue to put one step in front of the other. Just like I did that bright day in Kenya. When I was living in Kenya and I was walking across that waterfall, I could only achieve my true purpose. I could only get from one side of the waterfall to the other side of the waterfall if I focused on placing one foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. If you focus on placing one foot in front of the other, if you can do that, if your middle or high school career is your waterfall, you can continue to place one foot in front of the other. That's what you have to do. You have to let Workforce Solutions, you have to let Career Day, you have to let Youth Day, this career exploration, all of the soft skills, all the things that you guys are going to learn over the next 4 days, you have to let those things serve as your bridge over troubled waters. The water is rushing beneath you today, but luckily you have the opportunity to get on the bridge. And when I almost slipped, I only had 10 people to catch me. I only had about 10 friends. I had went to Africa with a group of students from the University of Wisconsin, also the University of Minnesota. And when I almost slipped, I only had 10 people to catch me. Today, here at Youth Day, you know what you have? You join a circle of thousands, not 10 people, but thousands of people who can put you in a position of success. Your administrators, your everybody that's here for you. I'm here for you on purpose, with a purpose, for a purpose. You can, use that network to become your dream circle. As a Youth Day scholar, you're building a pyramid of success. Imagine yourself building a pyramid of success that will stand the test of time throughout your family's generations. Just like the pyramids of Giza that's been standing for 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years. That's what you're building. I need you to understand that we're going to continue to lay these layers of brick. And as you lay each brick of foundational freedom, as you lay each brick of financial freedom at that foundation, the most important labor-intensive part in the phase of building this monument of success, so we can get to the top, is going to be building the foundation. That's what we're doing right now here today. We're building the foundation. We're giving you the soft skills. We're giving you the knowledge. We're giving you the insights. We're awarding you years and years. I'm giving you 15 years of experiences in a couple minutes, because I want you to have the bricks that it takes for you to build your monument of success. So once you've reached your destiny, once you've rested your final brick atop the apex of your personal monument of success, your spirit, believe me, your spirit will react. It'll react on a new frequency. You'll be looking like me, sweating crazy in a burgundy suit on a Monday morning. You're gonna be so excited. You're gonna be so on fire, because that's what it takes to succeed. Desire is the starting point of achievement. Do you want it bad enough? You already do. I know you do. That's why you're on this call today. You definitely want it, but we have to walk into it. We have to walk with purpose and do away with fear. Forget everything and rise. Your most profound spiritual self, when you forget everything and rise, your deepest self is going to touch a place of tranquility. You're going to feel comfortable, calm, cool, collected. You're going to reach a higher understanding, a deeper knowing, and an unequivocal belief that you have what it takes to succeed. Not just this time, but every time. Not just this time. This is going to catch a fire within inside of you. So over the next 4 days, you may feel like you're crossing your own personal waterfall. Of course you're gonna feel that way. We're doing things in a new culture now. Everything is not in person anymore. You need to remain focused on your ultimate goal and your ultimate dream. So over the next 4 days, I need you to feel free. I need you to keep walking. I need you to keep stepping one foot over the other. I need you to keep believing that a dream is made to be achieved. I need you to keep thinking like a DJ and realize that life is like a turntable on the record. As a matter of fact, as we sit here right now, I guarantee you the world itself is revolving. Not only, on its axis, it's revolving around the sun. Things are going to continue to spin. We're going to continue to have to catch the rhythm, ride the wave, feel the beat. We're going to have to continue to get to the point where we rock our party, because your life is the party. And if you only live once, I know you guys have heard that before, YOLO. Y'all heard Drake say that before, YOLO, you only live once, right? If it's true that you only live one time, will your one party just become a party of one? Is it true? If your life was a party, how many people will RSVP to your party? How many people will come to your celebration of life? That's what I want you to think about. So every day and every breakout session for the next 4 days, I need you to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Your date with destiny is already set. It's just waiting for you. Your date with destiny is set, and it's just hanging out, waiting for you on the other side of hard work, accountability, intentionality, and building a dream circle by networking over the next 4 days. Today, I need you guys to step into your purpose. I need you to step into your purpose. I need you to do away with fear. Forget everything arise. Believe in yourself and know that you are a chosen scholar of truth and goodness of your generation. And you built with the unshakable pillars of, you got love, faith, you got vigilant work ethic. You have a circle of support around you. All the administrators, all the teachers, all the educational support staff that's here for you, myself, everybody that's here for you is here to get you to go to another dimension, to get you to go higher, get you to go north and not south, because we believe in you. Know and believe that your self-confidence boils in the pot of understanding that your world purpose is to reach your destiny. We're in this hot pot of understanding. We need you to understand that this thing is boiling. We need you to turn your fire up. We need you to think like a DJ. We need you to understand that dreams are made to be achieved. You already have what it takes to succeed. I don't want to hear that you have the tools that it takes to succeed. It's on you to do it. And it's also in you to do it. Workforce Solutions has provided everything you need to win. They're giving you all the tools. We have, breakout sessions already prepared for you. We've been planning this thing for a long time to get here to this point, because we want to be intentional, we want to be accountable, and we want to build a dream circle around you so you can go up. Via the residual ritualistic execution of discipline and diligence, having faith over fear and seeing opportunities over obstacles, you shall succeed, because it's already written. Act on your dreams. Your voice in the future is calling your name, telling you to step into your purpose over the next 4 days. Your voice in the future is calling all of our names, my name as well, telling us to step into our purpose, step into the future, do away with fear over the next 4 days. How will you respond to your voice in the future? How will you respond to the person that you're supposed to become? Will you get to the point and to the level where you're able to continue to rock the party, continue to get your life to be a celebratory event? Goals are made to be believed, but dreams are made to be achieved. That's what I wanted to impart on you guys today. That it's important for you, no matter what waterfall you're walking across, that you're getting into a space where you can manifest your destiny through the power of sweat equity. Sweat equity is the exchange for your dream. You're not going to be able to just have your dream manifest itself by you simply sitting in front of the computer. We need you to take the information that we're giving you over the next 4 days, implement it in your life, talk to your friends about it, get people to join your dream circle, pick a tempo. We cannot rock the party if we don't first pick a tempo. We have to understand and visualize where we want to be. Like you see this book in the back, Think Like a DJ. Anytime I go, I've been DJing for 13 years, all throughout my collegiate career. I still spin records, I still play beats, things of the sort. When we get into this space of belief, we can do anything. We have to visualize what we're going to do before we get there. Before I get to any party, whether it's a corporate event, whether it's a Zoom event, whether it's something at the local high school, I have to visualize, I have to believe, I have to picturize the party. I have to see the celebratory event before I can be it. That's manifestation. That's picking a tempo. Once you guys learn how to pick a tempo, once you learn how to get into the space of visualization and writing your dreams down. What are your 7 gifts, skills, abilities, attitudes, goals, morals, values? What are the things that you naturally able to do that God gave you? What are the skills that God planted in your heart? What are the things that you can do better than the person next to you? Those are the things that we want to act on. Those are the things that we want to visualize. Those are the things that we want to see ourselves being before we actually manifest it. Because eventually, after we pick our tempo, we have to drop our first record. When I get to a party, I can't just get there and think, hey, this is the music that I love. I'm just going to play whatever. I have to have already predetermined what it is I'm going to do and how I'm going to perform. And that's what you need to do today. You need to think about deeply how you're going to perform. You need to think about deeply how you're going to manifest, your destiny here over the next 4 days. So not only am I excited to be here with you, I'm excited to share this moment in time with you, because today is a great day to be alive. Dreams are made to be achieved. And it's important for all of us to learn how to not only just, try things, but also commit to them. So I'm asking you today for a commitment to your purpose. Get rid of fear. Think like a DJ. Understand that dreams are made to be achieved. I'm yours truly, the one, the only, Mr. More Than a DJ himself, DJ M. White. I'm running for president. As you can see, I'm running for president, but I'm running for president of me. And it looked like I'm winning the campaign. I need you to get your campaign together. I need you as a high school student, as a young person today, I need you to get your campaign together. I need you to run for president. I need you to run for president of you. I need you to support yourself and the dream circle around you. Who are the folks that you most love and care about? That's what it means that, to get rid of fear and just dwarf fear with purpose. Because with purpose, fear cannot compete with. With purpose, we can do anything that we set our mind to. With purpose, we can go to college at 16 years old. And even though our father died at 3-4 years old, we can manifest our destiny. I'm a father to a 4-year-old son right now. Although I never grew up with my father, I know what it means right now to be a great father. Although you may have never grown up with the skills and the talents and gifts and abilities that you desire to have, they naturally there. I'm naturally a great father. Like, you're going to be naturally an awesome student. You're going to be naturally an amazing, hugely, wildly successful businesswoman. Those are the things that I need you guys to key into over the next 4 days. So I need you to think like a DJ, pick your tempo, drop your first record, feel the beat. I need you to ride the wave when things get a little bit intense. And then I need you to keep spinning hits. Continue to spin hits over the next 4 days. Continue to network and feel your dance floor. And ultimately, we want to get you to rock the party. Let's go. That's what we're ultimately going to do. Get you the opportunity to rock the party and give you the opportunity to manifest who you are, the deepest version of yourself. Because the voices of the future are calling all of our names and they're asking you to respond in a particular fashion. That's my message today, for you guys to think like a DJ. And I just wanted to play a little bit of, I want to show you what it means. Ride with me, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Dreams are made to be achieved. Think like a DJ. I'm going to see you guys in a couple of days, and I got another message for you. So I need you to dive in, head first, jump, and the net will appear. Don't be afraid. Just go ahead and jump.
What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that like Stockton. Just joshing. I'm spending this holiday locked in. My body got rid of them toxins. Sports in the top 10. I can put the ball in the end zone, put it back in the friend zone. Sound like an intro jet song, give me that tempo. So cool, here, fool. Told her don't let her friends know. In the field, and I move like a dime. Eating fettuccine of Vincenzo's. Me and my amigos got that free smoke on the West Coast. Yeah, I'm talking about.
Wake up, ladies and gentlemen.
Dark hair, she look like she go. She do.
Wake up.
Hero feeling myself, can't murder my ego. She heard she said, hey. She's in love with who I am. Back in high school.
It's a great day to be alive, ladies and gentlemen.
Now I hit the FBO with duffels in my hands. I did have a Zan, 13 hours till I land. Like a light, like a light struck, like a light slept.
Dreams are made to be achieved. Fear cannot compete with purpose. Think like a DJ.
Go undefeated. So back and then I'm bleeding. Go long. These bullets see receive it. I can't see it. My wrist look like the snow cone make her eat it. Once I see her, I give her head up just like it's easy. Then I leave her. I can't get caught up. I can't be on cheaters. Look on people. You know what it is. Go put it up before they breathe. Before they breathe. I'ma grab this bitch and strike. I throw my heat up. A lot of money is steady. Keep coming forever. I'm living my life like a
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm yours truly, DJ M. White. I'm excited to be here with you. I want you to understand that you are the DJ of your life. You are in the masterful control seat. You're in the booth. You got to get your turntable to spin in the direction that you want it to spin. Fear cannot compete with purpose, and now is the perfect time to be alive. What a time to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take the next couple days. Let's dive into what it means to be successful. Let's not be fearful of what it means to express ourselves. Let's ask great questions. Let's spin our records. Let's continue to move in the direction of our dreams, because our dreams are never going to die. Our dreams are always going to be there. The only thing that's going to go away is our desire. We want to turn up that flame. We want to turn up that flame and ignite that flame of desire, because each and every one of us, according to Dr. Dennis Kimbro, who wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich. It's actually the Black version of it is called Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. He tells us, and he tells us that we're worth $85 billion worth of enthusiasm. Each and every one of us scientifically has 11 million kilowatts per pound of energy in our body. Each one of us can power a city, a small city, for a week because of the energies in our body. What's your $85 billion? What are the ideas that you have inside that you need to extract? As they say, Thomas Edison, it took him 10,000 times to create what we call today a light bulb from a candlelight. We used to put candle lights on a Christmas tree and the whole tree would burn. But that hasn't happened for us in years. As young people, we have to realize that we are in a position to take our candlelight, put in 10,000 efforts, 10,000 tries, and transform our candlelight into what we call a filament, so we can change culture and illuminate our lives for the next 4,000 years. That's my message. That's what I wanted to give to you guys this morning. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit on the back end in a couple of days. So I encourage you to continue to go forward and meet me on the other side of success. I'm yours truly, Martinez White, DJ M. White. Think like a DJ is a culture. And I need you to understand that fear cannot compete with purpose. And you must understand that your dream is made to be achieved. Bless you.
Mr. White, awesome. Thank you so much for being with us. Man, if we weren't ready for today, you got us ready today. Love the excitement. It was awesome. You had me moving around in my seat there, man. Good jams, getting the blood pumping. That's exactly what we needed on a Monday morning to get everybody started. So thank you again so much.
I'll see you guys on the other side of success.
We will. We'll see you there. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mr. White.
All right.
All right, everyone. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and kickstart the day off with our sessions. If you are in this session, this is the career exploration session. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as to what's coming up next. As you see here, what we've got is at 9:15. So you've got a little bit of time to take a little break. If you need to step up and stretch out or get yourself something to drink. We got Mr. Jay Villegas from Frontier Air Conditioning, who's going to be talking about his occupation in the construction industry. And then 9:45, media broadcasting, this is Amar Terraza from Assignments Desk Manager from Telemundo. And then wrapping up the day at 10:15, representing the engineering industry would be Mr. Juan Mendiola from Vehicle Validation Engineer. He's a vehicle validation engineer with General Motors. So again, we're going to kick that off. We're going to get started at 9:15. It's 9:08. We've got about 7 minutes. Please stay on this channel. If you're not, then you're more than welcome to swing over to, if you have the itinerary, we've got another couple of tracks going. We've got the soft skills that's going to be starting. Feel free to click into that link. Or if you're a parent, or if you want to see what the parents are learning today, we've got the parental engagement link as well. So again, we're going to go ahead and take a pause right now for about 7 minutes. We'll get started with Mr. Villegas from Frontier Air Conditioning in just a bit. And thank you again for being with us this morning. He's out. They're out. All right, welcome back. Some of you TikTokers may know that that's a hot item right now, that Fleetwood Mac song, just keeping the good vibes going. So if any of you follow TikTok, that song's blowing up right now by Fleetwood Mac. We're going to go ahead and get started right now. If you see on your screens, thank you again for staying with us. We've got Mr. Jay Villegas. He's in the construction industry. He's going to be representing that today. He's a service manager at Frontier Air Conditioning. Jay Villegas is part of the Frontier Air Conditioning family and has worked in the industry for over 10 years. He received an associate's in business management and an associate's in air conditioning, both from South Texas College here in our own backyard. The two associate's degrees have helped him in becoming successful in his current position. His mission is to help people stay comfortable 7 days a week. And as you can tell from Mr. Villegas, 2 associate's degrees, we wanted to bring you a variety of backgrounds, so that way you know if you're looking into this field, it's an option to go into STC and get your associate and still make a living out of it, as Mr. Villegas will be talking to you right now. I'm going to go ahead and start his video.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine. Hernandez, and I'm a Workforce Outreach Specialist with Workforce Solutions. Today with us, we have Jay Villegas, who will be giving us some information on his profession. Mr. Villegas, can you please introduce yourself, your job title, and where you currently work?
Yes, I'm Jay Villegas. I'm working with right now Frontier Air Conditioning based out of Mission, and I'm the service manager of Frontier AC.
Awesome. How did you become interested in this occupation or field?
We're a family-run business. I've been doing it since I can remember. My dad has been in the industry for 30 years now, and I've been working with him since maybe 9, 10 years old. So I've known the industry for a very long time. I've been in construction for a very long time. And at first I didn't, I would have to work with him on the week. A lot of the people that we do hire, they have certificates. That's one. That can be a program. Some programs are 6 months to 12 months. Some are 2 years. And you can also get the associates as well, depending on how far you want to take, the industry and what you want to show up in the interview with. But also a lot of people that we hire as well that stick with us, they have a winner mentality and they want to learn. So about half of the people that we have working with us don't have any experience in HVAC, but they wanted to learn and they're willing to. And now they're some of our best people right now, actually.
So at that point, do you offer them apprenticeship position so they can actually learn and train in that field?
Yes, we do have like, it is an apprenticeship program. So what we do is we have basically different job descriptions. So you'll be an apprentice level 1, 2, and 3. And with each of those apprenticeships, you have different like checklists of what you have to learn by this point, and then a different pay comes at that. So once we know you're an apprentice level 1, then you jump up to level 2, level 3, and then you become an installer. Some apprentices can jump 3 levels in a month. Some, it may take 3 or 4 months. It just depends on how fast they want to go. But it's in our best interest that we, show them as much as possible. But when it comes to something like the trades, hands-on experience is the best experience that you can get.
Of course, I would imagine if somebody's fixing my AC that I would want them to know how to do it correctly, especially here in the Valley.
Yes, it's hot, and you have to know what they're doing, of course, because being without AC in the night is not very fun.
Yes. So what skills, abilities, and personal attributes are essential to success in your job and in your field?
Let's see.
Do they have to have good customer service? Do they have to be good with their hand-eye coordination when they're working on items?
They have to be willing to be in different environments. So, of course, we're in attics. Sometimes we're in crawl spaces. Sometimes we're under trailers. So you got to be a little bit flexible and mobile. You also got to be willing to get dirty. Usually in the summer, you'll have, let's say, 6 to 8 calls per day. So if you can't manage your time very well, it starts to become a little aggravating because you come in at 7, you won't be out until 9 or 10 o'clock in the night. And at that point, you've already seen, let's say, 10 customers. So you get into the house, you get into the attic, you're drenched in sweat, and then you collect, and then you get back in your truck, you dry up, you go to the next call, you're drenched in sweat again. So you're at least, it is physically demanding, climbing up the ladders, step ladders, tight spaces. It's funny that you say that because just yesterday, one of my technicians called me and he says, and I've never been asked this before. He says, "Hey Jay, there's 2 possums here right by the unit on the attic. What do I do?" I'm like, "Well, okay. Well, first of all, we're not going to touch him because, of course, it's dangerous if he gets bit, right? But this is the first time that they're just laying there next to inside the attic. So you got to be willing to deal with that, spiders." But that's what makes it interesting every single day, is that every day it's never the same. And with the industry, you're learning every single day something different, either about the new machines or the new systems, and about you interact with at least 5 to 10 customers per day. So you really get pretty good at communicating with them and relaying the information of what you're doing to the system. And then I wouldn't say dumbing it down, but making it more common for them to understand that way they know what you're doing and what they're paying for.
Awesome. So then what does a typical workday look like for you? Is it the same every day or does it change?
For myself, it's my typical workday. I come in at 7 o'clock. Usually so the technicians come in at 7:30. I usually come in at 7 to look at the schedule. Whether they're doing installations, service, duct cleaning, accessories for indoor air quality. We'll have all the parts taken out for them. And then what they do, they'll come in at 7:30, they start loading up the trucks, and then they'll turn in receipts or cash that they picked up the night before. Then that gets turned into the office, and then they load up. They're usually out of the office by around 8:15. They go on about their day. At that point, what I start working on is estimates and prices from the day before. So let's say they went to a house around 6, 7 o'clock in the night, which happens regularly, and the customer needed a quote for a coil replacement that had a leak in it. At that point, once everyone's gone, by 8:30, I start working on quotes and I start calling the vendors. So for different brands, they all have their own supply house, and then what we do there is I call for pricing, call for availability. If they have it in stock, okay, well, here's the price for this part. This is when we can install it, and they approve it. Then at that point, I then schedule, let's say since it's Thursday today, then, okay, well, we can be there Friday. So some customers will take precedent over others because some won't have AC. So I'm gonna try to get the customers that don't have AC first and the ones that have AC but it's not working very well. And then that's gonna be what the majority of my day consists of. And then after that, it'll be billing out, scheduling as well. And one of the last things is just implementation. So every day I'm constantly looking for better ways to run the business. So that takes about 20 to 15% of my day is, okay, if this didn't work this day, then how can we make it better? And that's just always in my mind is how can we make this faster? My mentality is how can we make this like a McDonald's? And it's been working pretty much that way. And we're actually gonna have meetings on Tuesday about, okay, what did we fail at this year? And then we can start working on it from October to December. So that's on the roadmap for the last quarter.
Okay, so what aspect of your job do you find more challenging, the most challenging, and the most rewarding?
I think the most challenging would be the customers. Every single customer is different, but the more customers that you deal with, the better off you are dealing with them. You know, there's very few that are difficult. Majority of them are very nice. I mean, you don't have any problems, but I'd say even with the technicians, it's more of the interaction with customers that we have to deal with, because every single person is different. Every background is different, so we don't know how their day was or what they've been going through. You just never know. So with every single customer, you just treat them with respect. As someone brand new, and we always tell technicians this is, let's say your first call didn't go too well, never take that over to your next customer. You know, that's the last thing that you want to do. That'll be the most challenging is the customers. And of course, it's a little pressure time sometimes because in the middle of the summer, especially with COVID thing that was going on, so much things were backed up because of COVID. So customers were, you know, kind of blaming the company for not getting to them on time. But there were so many, of course, parts were made all over the United States. So metal was backed up, plastic was backed up. So all these parts that once took 2 to 3 days to get here were now taking weeks. So we understand the customer because they don't have AC, and what do you do? So we always try to get them going as soon as possible. Most rewarding, I think, is seeing the people here, the team grow. So when we start adding things here and there, and whether we're implementing, let's say, new financing software, that when they first saw it, they didn't know too much about it. But as they started to use it and they started to make sales with it, and just kind of used it like if they have been using it for years, that's what is rewarding for me, is when we're implementing technology with a company and then implementing processes and start to use it. It takes a while for them to get to it. But once they start using it every single day, it just makes the company that much better. And it makes them better, because if they're not coming in every single day with a better mentality than they had the day before, then that was, I think, a day wasted. So that's the most rewarding thing for me, is my guys growing, because when they grow, so do I.
And that's correct, right? And I think that's how it normally is in almost every business. It doesn't matter what type of background it is. So how do you measure success in your position?
I think success to me in my position is changing the lives of my employees. If I can make their lives better, if I can make their work day more fulfilling, because of course they spend, right now they're working about 50 to 60 hours per week. So if they're not happy and they're not content with the time they spend here, because of course they spend more time here than they do with their families, So that's my main goal, is to make sure that the time spent here on the vehicles, on service calls, is as easy as possible for them. Because if I make it easy for them and fun for them and entertaining, then the customers are entertaining, the customers are having a good time. And if not, if they're in a mood or if they're not doing very well, then that's going to reflect on the customer and then the reputation of the company. But as for me, the way I think, if I ever have to go work somewhere, I want to be sure that I'm going to be comfortable and content with where I'm working, because if not, then I'll just go work somewhere else. So that's always in the frame of mind, is how do I make their lives easier? How do I make their job more fulfilling? It's been working for us that way, because right now we have really good people here. And I think that's what's most important to them, is that.
So you're talking about working with other individuals. So obviously you work in a team, right? You don't work individually. What type of individuals or what other positions do they work with that you work together to make your team?
Excuse me. So it's kind of set up in 3 or 4 different parts. So we usually have, of course, the company, and then we have the employees, and we have our vendors. So that's usually the circle, right, that we do. So a technician will go to the home, diagnose the system. He'll let me know, hey, Jay, this is what's going on with it. What do you think we should do? Okay, at that point, I call the vendor. So just like anything else, you have different brands of air conditioners, and then also you have different distributors. So let's say the brand is Carrier, the distributor is going to be Total Line. So then I got to call the distributor that sells that product, of course, for the Valley, and then ask them for this part. And then let's say the front desk people can help me. Then I have an account manager after that. And hey, well, this customer really needs it. I mean, we just installed this machine 2 years ago. They have no AC. And then he's like, okay, Jay, let's see what I can do for you. Then he starts calling people above him. Let's say San Antonio has it. Hey, I need this part expedited. Okay, that's fine. So then that San Antonio branch will then get logistics involved. Hey, we need to ship this part overnight. And then it just starts going up from there, and I deal with, that will be the main parts of it. And then you also have your subcontractors. So the subs, what they'll do is we normally don't do ductwork. We do very little of it, but we have subcontractors that do it. So what they do is they specialize solely in ductwork. So then we'll contract them. They're doing about 2 or 3 jobs per week. And they are going to replace all the ductwork, kind of where you see the vents in the houses. They replace those where the air comes through. And then we'll only replace the actual system for that. And then we have, our account managers for our softwares. We have our CPA. We have our lawyers. We have our, dispatcher, receptionist, our sales manager, and it just goes on and on from there.
A big team. Normally, most people would think that it's just a technician and maybe the manager. So then there's so many different factors that goes into owning a business or being part of a business and working in that field. I know
Yes.
that you had stated that some of your technicians work 50 to 60 hours per week. I'm assuming you work the same amount of hours. What is the typical work-life balance for somebody in your field then?
Yes, it is a lot of moving parts for this to work at the level that we're at. And as we starting to grow, like for the last quarter, we're going to be opening up 2 positions, which will be 2 sales reps, inside sales reps. So what we noticed is we need some more sales. We need some, a few more people that are motivated by sales. So that's going to be the plans for next month. Once I have those sales reps in place, then I can continue then to go ahead and add new installers, add new technicians to the company. Because without sales, of course, the installers and technicians have no work. So every single part of this company, if we start to fail, if we start to get lazy, it affects everyone as a whole. And this is one thing we always let our employees know is that if you don't feel good a certain day, just know it affects everyone. And that's why it's always important that we're always on top of things. And again, going back to just making the work environment as good for them as possible. When it comes to the work-life balance, when it comes to HVAC, it is different. We're considered an emergency service. So usually people will not be looking for air conditioners or air conditioning service until it breaks down. So that customer we usually buy within 24 to 48 hours from the time their machine breaks down, or even that. If your AC is set at 70 and it's 80 degrees, you're gonna pick up the phone and whoever answers you first, whoever can be there first is the one you're gonna hire. So it's an emergency-based service. So when we're answering those phones, we're making sure to book those calls. And when we're booking those calls, we're making sure the technician that goes there is doing everything in his power to wow the customer and to do the best job, because the last thing we want is, hey, you guys just came out here 3 days ago, it's doing the same thing, now we got to go back and not charge for it. So that's where the training comes in on our part for the technicians. In the summer, I know the work-life balance has gotten a little better, partly because of me, because I want our technicians to have a life. That's one thing that wasn't happening before. I know back around 2016, we were doing about 80 hours a week. So it was it's not good, it's very dangerous actually. So, but of course the guys wanted it. They were making great money. But moving forward, we would never do that again, because it does become taxing. It does again, the work-life balance does become an issue. In the summer, usually you're working 50 to 60 hours, if not more. We signed some that are 78 hours as well. But this is our season. It's also kind of seasonal. So we have our peak, which is going to be in the summer, where we're working from 7 to 9 every single day. But then in the winter, of course, it slows down to 30 to 40 hours. So they're usually used to working 60 hours a week, and now they work 40. They just kind of don't know what to do with their life. I feel the same way. When I get home at 5 o'clock, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I feel very weird. But I was working a lot for a long time since I'm 26 now. Since 21, 22, I was working I would come into the office, just working on the company, and then service, and then installs, and I was leaving at 9 every day. But we did grow a lot because of that. So I also do believe in the more you work, the more you get. So it is 100% true. But also, once I started to realize, I guess, as I got older, that you're never going to really reach, or maybe by reading books and by hearing things, that you're never going to reach a final. You're always working towards it, but you're never going to reach the final product of the business, because things change so rapidly. And also the team members behind you change. So I can be having a great team right now, but in a month, I may lose half of the team. So then it puts everything back that your plans were, that once were. Usually come out, I'm usually maybe working 50, 55 hours a week. A lot of it has to do with the office, but the more work that we have, then the more work the guys have. That's kind of the way they work together. But I've gotten used to a little bit, but I did take a step back to kind of, I guess, reset, and gonna hit it hard in the last quarter with a lot of processes and procedures. But it is important work-life balance, yes, because you never reach the end.
Yeah, and you can get burnt out, right? And I'm pretty sure that you've seen it with your employees or your technicians. So
Yes,
I've heard you saying that you encourage it. So that's good. There should be some type of balance. I know with some jobs, it's never going to be 50-50, but that time that they do have, they should take advantage of it.
Exactly. Yeah, because my technician got burnt out, everyone, my dad. So we already felt it. And we end up being kind of useless to the company once we do that. So we never want to reach that point, but we already know what it feels like, and we know the steps we have to take towards not letting it happen again. So we will turn down jobs, we will turn down customers, because the health of our team member employees is much more important than going to another service call and getting another customer, because I need that technician to be ready for the next day and spend time with his family, because again, if he's not happy here, he's not making the customers happy, right?
That's awesome that you are actually aware of that and you take that into consideration. What would you recommend students in high school or college to do to prepare for a career in this field, or to prepare for this type of job? Would you encourage them to join any type of clubs, to work on their time management, communication skills?
You kind of see where the industry is going. Just so you're aware, or the average age of a technician right now is 58 years old, HVAC technician. So those technicians are dying out. They are no more. So the industry for many years has been seeing a decline and a shortage of technicians. No one wants to do what we do. So it's actually where you want to be at, because during COVID, when we thought we were going to kind of plummet, of course, we're essential. So we thought we were going to people were going to stop calling. No, actually, we did better during the lockdown than ever before. It was insane. And we were telling the technicians, hey, don't you see how important this job is to you? I mean, you guys are working every single day. You guys are working crazy hours, because this is needed. There's no going around it. You need air conditioning. Everything that you do revolves refrigeration. That would be the fridge. Of course, the house that you're in, anywhere you go, that's all refrigeration, which is just, of course, air conditioning. So they kind of took a step back and realized that. that the career that they were choosing was a good career, that they're never going to be without work. And then when you're leaving high school, I would recommend if your high school, my high school had the tradesman program, to where I took 2 years in high school, and then by the time I got to college, I only needed 1 more year. So I was already ahead of the game, and it's a very interesting career. No matter where you go, whether you stay in the Valley or you go to, say, Vegas, you go to San Antonio, if you're a technician, they're going to hire you on the spot because of how rare we are, and they're going to pay you very well as well. So no matter where you go, there's always going to be a job for you, especially if you're good at it, and you'll make way more money than you would kind of joining a job market that's already very saturated with kind of the same degrees that everyone's already doing, you know? So just take a different approach. You may have to get sweaty. You may have to, be a little bit uncomfortable sometimes, but the reality is when it comes to home services and our industry, it's going up. And this year, there was a 70% shortage in technicians. By 2024, it's gonna be 120% shortage. So it's not getting any better for us. And the trades, whether it be electrician, plumbing, HVAC, I mean, those industries are going to go up, and those are all very essential services for you every single day. People just don't consider it because it's in the back of their mind, but without electricity, you have nothing. Without plumbing and without air conditioning, those are 3 very important things that we just kind of don't think about until they break. Then everyone starts to go mad, everyone starts to go a little crazy and frustrated. So it is a good career to get in, and you can branch off into so many things. Air conditioning is not just air conditioning your house. You have controls, you have automation, you have chillers, you have geothermal baseboard heaters. It goes on and on with the industry. So this little air conditioner that you have at your house isn't it. There's so much more to it. You just decide where you want to specialize in, and then you take the career from there and you learn from it.
So for those that don't understand, it's not that there's going to be a lack of jobs. It's just that there's not enough people working in that field, that they actually need more people to be trained in that, right? If I'm correct?
We need more people there to be trained, to actually want to take the initiative to learn, because you never stop learning. It's a little tough for some people because you just never end, but that's also makes it so interesting depending on your character. If you like to consistently learn and you like to better yourself, then this is the perfect trade for you. But if you kind of like to stay content and doing the same thing every single day, it's not going to happen here with HVAC or any home services industry.
So what other factors besides education and experience are needed to actually perform well in that position or to actually obtain employment in that position? Obviously, I heard you saying about working in the evening, so they may have to work outside of normal business hours, which include Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. Besides that, or if you can elaborate a little bit more on that, what other things do they have to do? Do they have to travel? Do they have to have good credit? Or is it okay if they have a criminal background? What are the things that they need?
Yes, when it comes to with us, of course, you're driving a vehicle. Of course, if you crash that vehicle, you were in very big trouble. So you do need a clean record. You have to have a driver's license, no DWIs, nothing like that. You're also get registered with the state. So let's say you have a record as well with the law. Of course, you can't work for us either because you're going into customers' homes. Again, if you're doing 10 customers per day, you're seeing at least 50 customers per week, and that's a lot of chance for something bad to happen. So we want to mitigate the risk as much as possible to make sure that the technician there is being as polite and as respectful as possible, because every single customer is very different. So you got to be willing to, of course, work on the weekends. So we have on-call technicians. So we kind of rotate every month. So you'll work all week. Usually, sometimes you can make your 40 hours within 2 or 3 days. It just depends on the workload. So a lot of times you'll hit your 40 hours between 3 days, and we'll just have you off the next 3 days, depending on the workload that we have. And then we rotate the on-call weekend. So once you're on call, then our business hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 7, or 7:30 to 7:30, I'm sorry. And then on weekends, 7:30 to 5. So we're taking calls until 5 o'clock, but sometimes those calls may drag on because some calls can take you 15, 20 minutes. Some may take you 3 hours. So it's always constantly changing the schedule. And on an hourly basis, we're moving the schedule to make sure that the customers are updated that, hey, you know, this job is taking a little bit longer than usual, but we'll still be there around this time. Or if not, we move another technician that's finishing up these jobs earlier and we'll put them on that position for that customer. Willing to check availability, travel. We don't travel very much, mostly for training if we have to. We usually fly out to, right now there are a lot of trainings that were scheduled, you know, but then because of COVID, a lot of those got canceled. What we'll do now, we have, of course, Zoom meetings, and we're gonna have a meeting, I believe today, with the technicians on how to troubleshoot gas furnaces. So this is something that we would normally do at, you know, at a distributor. Now we're doing it here in office, which is a good thing. I think this is where things are going anyway. So it makes things a little bit easier to get everyone in place. And also, what you have to do is learn how to interview. We interview a lot of people, and the interviews are the ones that really we see lacking when it comes to whether it be coming out of high school or coming out of college. You have to learn how to be interviewed and how to conduct yourself in an interview. That's one of the biggest things, because that's what we hire on. Some of the best interviews that we had, I mean, they knew nothing about HVAC, but they had that great attitude, and now they are shining with the company. So I think getting good at interviews, and it is okay to be nervous. I understand, but also to just kind of, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but just to get better at it, whether you do mock-up interviews or you practice by yourself. But that's one thing I do see lacking is the ability to interview or to conduct yourself in an interview. Other than that, credit check, everything else is good. It's at the most top of that is going to be a positive attitude. If you have a positive attitude, you can go anywhere, I think. And if you have a good attitude with us, I mean, you'll get hired on the spot as well.
Well, Mr. Villegas, thank you again for taking the time to actually complete this interview. The information was extremely valuable and will impact those people that are interested in this position, and to make others aware of what you actually do. So guys, if you're interested in learning more about this career or any other careers, we encourage you to explore Texas Reality Check, which will allow you to determine if this career will meet the future salary needs that you may need in the future. Or you can explore Texas Career Check, Own It, or Career Coach to find out more information about other careers. For all those links, you are able to find them under our website, wfsolutions.org, which are noted right here. And again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Mr. Villegas.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you so much to Mr. Villegas, and thank you to all the questions that have come through. A couple of things before we move on that I wanted to touch on. Just remember some of the key points that Mr. Villegas talked about. If you're interested in the HVAC or in the construction, 58 years old is what he's saying is the average age. So they're going to be retiring pretty soon. So they're in need of some new young HVAC. COVID-19 resistant job. You heard that his job, and any job that's requiring assistance in the house, such as refrigeration, air conditioning, plumbing, those jobs actually spiked during the COVID pandemic. So if you're worried about a job or wanting to get a job that is gonna get you through these type of times, it's a perfect job. You heard him mention a couple of times throughout the whole presentation that there is going to be a huge shortage of jobs, of individuals to fill jobs. So again, as Ms. Hernandez was asking, always keep in mind that he mentioned that there are going to be so many jobs right now that there isn't enough people to fill them. So if you're looking in this industry, all accounts show that you will be able to find a job pretty easily. He also mentioned that there are other jobs other than residential. There's commercial, there's working with the panels and so forth. It is an on-call job. That they rotate, so that's one of the schedules you need to be aware of. But do know that he mentioned that most of the time, because there's such a demand for this job, you will get most of your 40 hours in 2 to 3 days and then have the rest of the week off. So that's always something to look forward to. And he did mention a couple of things on soft skills, mentioning the positive attitude being number one and interviewing skills. So again, just some of the highlights that Mr. Villegas shared with you guys. If you have any questions, please share those with us on the Q&A. And Mr. Villegas is not on at this time, but we are going to get him the questions and we'll get you answers. If you registered for the event, we will place them on, we'll send them to your school or directly to you. So again, thank you so much. And if you're on YouTube Live, go ahead and put those in the chat and we'll get those questions over to Mr. Villegas before the end of the week. Next up, we have media and broadcasting. And so for that, we have Isamar Terrazaraz. I hope I pronounced that right. If she's on the call, I apologize. She's the assignments desk manager at the NBC Universal owned stations, which is Telemundo. She is currently the assignments desk manager there. There, she supervises a team of editors to find information for the newscast, as well as assign the field crew special shows for station, as well as for national news teams like NBC News and Noticias Telemundo. Terrazas started her career as an assignment desk editor at Telemundo in 2019 and was promoted to her current role, making her the youngest manager for the station. Born and raised in McAllen, she has 6 years experience in broadcast journalism. She received her Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Electronic Media from Texas State University in 2014. She is and an Edward R. Murrow Regional Award recipient. In 2016, she was nominated for a National News and Documentary Emmy Award for her work with MSNBC and Telemundo. So with no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share her screen with you. Give me a minute here and we'll get it started. Thank you again so much for joining. Just went down. Stop using the chat. It keeps popping up on the screen. Irene, are you in our session? Yes. In our session? Why not? Can you get in it or are you still presenting? Again? No, you're not presenting again, Tim. You got an hour in between. Yeah, but what does the schedule show? If you can still hear me, I apologize. We're having some trouble with Zoom right now. We're working to get you back on. I apologize. I apologize for that. I am getting back on. Technical difficulties. We'll go ahead and get started with the video. Just bear with me.
assignment desk manager, where I'm in charge of the content for the newscast and also in charge of distributing that content between the different newscasts, as well as supervising other assignment desks, editors, and photographers.
Oh, wow. Perfect. So what kind of education, training, or background does your job require?
So I graduated college with a bachelor's degree in electronic media from Texas State University. It's basically journalism, but TV journalism, because they separated between print or social media and public relations, all that stuff. So my degree was electronic media. We did, basically training on camera work, we did basically training on everything. Being behind the scenes, being in front of the scenes. I did several stories for our college station. I worked for our radio station there as well, just to get a little bit of everything that I could do, because it's such a wide range of opportunities out there. I also did an internship with Channel 4 here in the Valley. I was born and raised here, so I obviously wanted to come back home and help our community here. So I did an internship with Channel 4, and there I learned basically how it is to actually work in a newsroom. Because being in college, you kind of get that a little bit more of a lineage of, you have more time to work on stories and everything, versus working every day where you have a deadline every day for different shows. So that experience there really helped me, understand the business even more. And I fell more in love with what I was doing. And I was so happy to take this. And of course, you do need to learn a lot about how to write, how to edit, how to shoot video. It's not that easy, actually.
I bet. Okay, and so what about skills, abilities, and personal attributes that are essential to succeed in your job or that specific field?
Like I mentioned, you need to learn how to write, you need to learn how to edit, and you need to know how to shoot. That's probably the three basic skills that you need in order to succeed within the field of journalism. I feel like other skills that we can start developing would be patience and obviously determination, because a lot of our job consists of, trying to hold those people that need to be held accountable, or tell the story of our community members, or just, be more involved with our community.
Yes.
So you have to really be determined to get that story and help reach your goal for the day, because basically your story airing is your goal of the day. And what I mean by patience is because sometimes, because of that deadline, because of that stress of, I have to get my story out there, or I have to get my newscast full by this time. It is very hard when you don't receive answer from either your sources, from, sometimes our viewers are like, well, you have to work with people's schedules for interviews, or, if something's happening, breaking news at that time. News is happening 24/7. So you're basically on the job 24/7. And I feel like those are probably some of the skills that you need to develop, or that you could develop within the years of being in this business.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that. So the next question is a 3-part question. So let me ask the first one, and then I'll move on to the next ones. Can you describe what a typical workday looks like for you?
Okay, so I'm gonna run out a little bit on that. So it's I start my mornings by waking up and checking my cell phone, obviously.
Okay.
I check my cell phone, make sure that I don't have any missed messages, emails, anything that I can probably lead me towards the day before getting ready and all that stuff. I get here at the station at 7:30ish, just so I could have usually my job is 8 to 5, but I get here a little bit earlier just so that I can have a little bit more time before my first meeting with my first crew, and just finding out what I can do, what I can find, what needs to be done for the newscast of the day. At 8 o'clock again, I have my first meeting with my first team. I assign them; they go do their thing, and then I have from 8 to 9 to find more stories, more content. Then at 9, I have a bigger meeting with a larger team We discuss the stories for the continuation of the day, and not only stories for the day, but maybe stories that we can work throughout the week or even throughout the month. And from there, everybody gets assigned, everybody gets distributed, like the producers get distributed what stories, what reporters they will get for the day. And then from the course of then on, now being a manager, I have several meetings with corporate, we have budget meetings, we have staff meetings, we have a bunch of other stuff that we have to take responsibility of during the day. And then we have another meeting, an editorial meeting at 2, where you run down the shows for the afternoon, and you also assign the evening, the 10 p.m. basically newscasts as there. And then from there, I get between 2 and 4, you get, it's the busiest time because you need to make sure that all the radios are in, you need to make sure that every reporter will have their script and their packages on time. And then at 4 p.m. is basically the deadline for everything to come in. So 4 p.m. starts our newscast. Sometimes stories are coming in within the newscast, so you got to be paying attention to that. And 5:30, we're done. And we have to wait and do that all over again till 10. And then once you're done with 10, then you do the next day. So basically, that's pretty much how the day goes.
It does sound like a busy day, but I bet it makes your day go by super fast. And if you're passionate about the work that you do, which it does sound like you are, I bet it makes it even go by faster and you enjoy it. So that sounds really, really great. So the second part of this question is, what is your day-to-day responsibilities of your position? So you basically went through that already. Let me go ahead and move on to the third and last part, which is, what kind of problems do you encounter daily?
Well, daily, a perfect day would be where every video gets in on time, everybody's stories get in on time. Nothing is messing up, all the equipment is working properly. That would be a perfect day, but we never get those. Mm-hmm. So it's always either somebody's equipment is not working, it's maybe the videos are not going into our system because the internet is not cooperating for the day. Those can be very, very hard, very, problems that will make somebody super snap. But we have to really be patient with it because that's our job. Work around it. We always have a plan B on how to get those stuff done. And that way our viewers don't see everything that's going on backstage. And you really can't tell because I have such a great team. We have everybody's doing, whatever they can to help during those problems that people won't notice on the air that, somebody's basically the station is burning down because our equipment is not working. So that would be something maybe like a day-to-day that we can get. But also as a supervisor, you also have to have maybe hard conversations with staff, or not even sometimes depending on what it is, you can have good conversations with staff. So we just try to, like I said, I have a great team. Luckily, I don't have to have bad conversations at all or often. So, that, I guess when it gets to that phase, that would probably want to be one of the challenges. And I hope, luckily, I don't get to go to that phase, but it can happen in any business. So those would be some kind of the problems that we would have.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. And to be honest with you, I can see how things can get pretty chaotic behind scenes because when we tune into the news, for us, we see a perfect show most of the time and with minimal technical difficulties. But I can only imagine what the team behind has to go through. So it gives us great insight to just know what you guys sometimes have to face. Okay, so let me go ahead and move on to the next part. And this is a 2-part question. What are some of the decisions that you make daily and how do you make those decisions?
So our daily decisions are what is going to go in the newscast. What stories will our viewers be more interested in? What is going to affect our community? And what is something that is well, basically that, what's going to affect your community, what stories need to go in the newscast, and who gets assigned those stories. We do analyze our reporters and our photographers' fortes, strengths, weaknesses, and obviously we have conversations with them about both of them, and that's how we kind of assign our stories for the day. Like who can probably do a very nice rounded package versus, okay, this is what we need for this day, or maybe we need a more, straight to the point package, just depending on the urgency of the story as well. This is what we consider a market that's not very breaking news-ish. We don't get a lot of chases or arrests or any of those types of things, like maybe in Los Angeles or Dallas or New York. But we do have a lot of stories that resonate with our community regarding immigration, regarding our economy, healthcare, and a lot of those stories, they're stories that we can do anytime during the day or anytime throughout the year. I'm sorry. So it really brings out the creativity of our team. And the way they pitch us the stories, it would be myself, the producer of that show, and the executive producer, who at the end of the day, or at the end of that meeting, would decide, what, yes, we like the story, go for it. So that's how we come up basically with decisions. Is the urgency, the effect in our community, and is it something that will, resonate with, or will cause an impact, or will hold those accountable that need to be accountable.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Could you tell me about a project that you are currently working on?
Right now, because of everything that's going on, we have very little projects. We usually have specials, we have traveling. Right now, I can say that we are working on our election day coverage. We are currently expecting to travel to Nashville, Tennessee, to cover the presidential debate between President Trump and Vice President Biden. So we're working on the plans for that. Obviously, we're also trying to get people out to vote. Right now we're doing a registration to vote campaign, but we will start working on, getting people out to vote, whether it's by mail, whether it's in person, during either early voting or election day. I just recently worked with our team from NBC Nightly News and Telemundo national teams, and because they're doing this basically campaign or team up where NBC News and Telemundo air the same story with their both reporters at the same time during the same newscast at 5 p.m. On both national networks. So I did help our teams from New York and Miami, that they traveled here, help coordinate interviews, and helped with their, permissions and everything, because I'm from the area. I know the people, so I like to help them out in those types of stories. And the story actually aired about 2 weeks ago. It was about the constant traveling for medication and to Mexico from our viewers, or from our residents here in the Rio Grande Valley. So that was a fun project to work and to get back into field producing, because I love field producing as well. Being out in the field is completely different from producing here in the station. You get that more connection with your community, and you're more affected by what's going on when you're out there versus if you're just here in the studio.
Yes. Okay, so I want to ask you a follow-up question on something that you mentioned. I know you said that you're preparing to go to Nashville for the last debate. Would you be a part of that team that would travel, or are you in charge of organizing the team that's going to be sent there for that specific report?
So usually we would send a full team, a producer, a reporter, and a photographer. Because of the travel limitations and, everything going on right now, we're trying to limit the amount of people that travel. So right now I'm coordinating, making sure that they have their hotel room, they have their, their whatever vehicle that they're going to use, that the airline is done. Plus, we need to coordinate stories that we will be airing during that week. That way, we make it a special week, special Decision 2020 week, where we inform our viewers about why these debates are so important and how these debates can change the election at any time. And, you know, give our reviewers a more informed, vision for the election. And so they can be able to vote for whatever candidate they think will be best for our country. So, yeah, right now it's mostly that, just helping them coordinate, helping them, you know, doing the interviews for their stories that will be previewed before the actual debate. Then also helping coordinate with the National Debate Committee to get our, you know, credentials and all that stuff.
Perfect. Okay, moving on. What aspect of your job do you find most challenging or rewarding?
Okay, well, I can probably mention both. The challenging part would be the, you know, those setbacks about, you know, something not working for the day or story not going, you know what, the story getting canceled. And it's like, you know, you're like, that's such a great story. We really want it. But for some reason, either an interview cancels or postpones or something, we're not able to do it. So that's probably a little bit challenging and frustrating because you're counting on that story for the day. And sets you back maybe 2 or 3 minutes of newscasts. And, you know, it's very hard to find content that can replace that. And rewarding would be when we get our viewer calls and they say, you know what, I love that story that you did, or thank you for helping me, you know, with that, whatever situation that they were going through. And you know what, or they call us like, you know, after the story aired, the trash was picked up after months of not getting picked up or something like that. Those are the rewarding aspects of this job. We don't get those a lot. But when we do, it's just such a great feeling that we feel like, you know, it's everything that we do is worth it.
Okay, perfect. So how does success look like in this position and how do you measure it?
I would say, like I mentioned there, basically our viewers telling us that we help them in something, I think, or that holding those accountable that need to be held accountable. I feel like those are probably the two non-physical aspects of success in this business. But if you want to talk about physical, we have different awards that we receive as journalists. You have the Edward R. Murrows, you have the Lone Star Emmys or the National Emmys, which we've received a couple of those. So I think maybe those are awards that we amongst our peers, you know, give to each other. And I think that's also like gratifying to get one of those awards because you have something maybe physical to represent your hard work. But in the end of the day, we're doing this for our viewers. We're not doing it for an award. And just getting those type of messages, those phone calls, those positive feedback from our audience is just probably the most gratifying thing that we can probably get in our business.
Most definitely. I'm sure it's very reassuring that the work that you do, it is paying off, and to hear back from the community and even your coworkers can be great.
So there's a lot of negativity in the world, and just getting those positive messages just brings everything, you know, what shuts
to keep you going
down and keeps us going for the day.
Yes. Okay, so are there any opportunities for professional development? And if yes, what do those look like?
I feel like in any job, any type of development is great. You always need to learn, and I feel like I always need to learn everything that I can. In my job, I feel like I need to learn more to be a newscast producer. I've done it. I've ran shows, but I'm not an expert in it. I would love to develop more skills in producing. That would probably be something that I would probably work more a little bit myself, even though technically I'm a supervisor, I don't have to do it. But being from a market that's not that big and that we don't have like that many stuff going on, I feel like I can get that opportunity to develop. So, and seeing my team, they always want to learn. They always want to learn other stuff, not only from, you know, you have your basic job description, but they do more than that. They go above and beyond their Call of Duty, basically. So I really appreciate when they come to me and they're like, you know what, I want to learn how to do this, or can I go out there and help you with this? And it's so much. I'm like, yes, you can help me with anything you want. So that would probably, trying to develop different skills, not only within your job description, but, learning other skills, other positions, learn how to do other positions. It helps a lot because this company actually hires a lot of within our same company. So a lot of promotions are always done all the time because of people that started, as an intern. I've had interns that are now anchors, and because they've been developing skills not only with doing their internship, but they've done reporting, they've gone out and shoot video, they've written for the newscast, they know the business. They started basically from a student to being now one of the faces of the company. So there's a lot of opportunities to develop, and I think every year you learn a little bit more, and especially now that we have to learn how to work more with technology more than ever because we can't be there in person anymore. So I think this year has really taught us to develop more skills than any other year.
Okay. What would you recommend students in high school or college do to prepare for a career in this field?
When I was in high school, I was in different, there were not a lot of organizations that were probably like journalists specifically. I was part of an organization that was specific to recording football games and everything. So I learned a little bit how to shoot videos from there. But if there's an organization like maybe a journalism club or even the yearbook club where they have deadlines, or organizations that have deadlines, because you'll basically start developing those urgency types of skills, those would be great organizations to join. I know that when I had to go shoot videos for the football games, I had a deadline where I had to, submit my video, edit it, and, narrate it the way it needed to be. If you do that, something like that if there's something like that in high school, that would be great. I don't know if they have any, maybe some school districts are probably doing, making their own mini newscast that would probably benefit a lot of people that probably want to go into the journalism world. It's very fun. It's very fun to be on camera, but it's more fun to be backstage too. And going into college, for those that are graduating high school, going into college, also joining organizations like the journalism club, broadcasting club. Also, they'll probably make you do the TV station as a class, but you can also do it as also in your free time and stuff like that. I worked at the radio station, and that also developed more news kind of skills. So joining those types of organizations, those types of clubs can probably help you develop and also make connections with people that you eventually have to work with. So I feel like those types of stuff that you can do in high school, college would work.
Definitely work. Thank you. What factors other than education and experience impact someone's ability to work in your position? For example, with credit, a clean background check, the ability to travel, willing to work outdoors, or a working schedule other than the ideal Monday through Friday, 8 to 5?
The basic clean background check, all that good stuff. But this job is so big. People don't believe me. It's 24/7. Okay, you have your scheduled time, either 8 to 5, 9 to 6, 2 to 11, etc. But we're always on call. Something can happen, and I'd be leaving the station. You know what? Come back. We got this. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and work for that shift, or work double time or triple. We just had it with Hurricane Hannah. Our coverage was 7 days, so we didn't have any break. Just continuing coverage and bringing that, as well as, we had an incident where our station was also getting affected by the hurricane. So it's constantly being on call. I think that having availability to do that is going to really bring you, and being, saying, yes, I'll be there, and always having that disposition of being there. That's going to really bring your supervisor's attention into helping you grow. versus someone that probably is like, I'm just going to do my shift and that's it.
Mhm.
And also, availability to travel, because we cover, our coverage is basically the Rio Grande Valley, but we've seen that our viewers like to see us at the scene of a major event or major, anything that's happening around the world, around the country.
Mhm.
We've been to Mexico with the earthquake into 2017, I believe.
Oh, wow.
We're going to the presidential debate.
Mhm.
We're thinking of going to the inauguration in January. Being there in major events, having our talent from the Rio Grande Valley being represented out there in the world having that availability to do that is also going to be one of the things that when hiring, our staff is going to be considering.
Perfect. So I know it sounds that like it can be a very taxing job, but it can help being very passionate about the work that you do. And it does sound like it's a very busy schedule. So I'm wondering, how do you find balance between your work and personal life?
It's very hard. And I'm pretty sure it's very hard for other businesses as well. I mean, I'm personally, I'm married, and thankfully my husband understands completely my job. He understands that sometimes I've had instances where actually this happened last year. It was our anniversary, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta go to work. I'm sorry. But he's like, okay, we'll make it up another day. And that but at the end of the day, I still try to separate my work life from my personal life. When I do take vacations, I try to, disconnect myself as much as possible. If it's something urgent, I would get calls about it, not an email. So I don't try to panic or worry. I used to, obviously, when you're starting the business, you always want to be like, I have to be on my phone all the time. But now it's more like, you know what? My team has it. My team can handle it. If I'm not there, they can do it. If they really, really need me, they'll call me. So, just trying to separate both personal and professional career, personal and professional life, that is hard, but it can be done. And, it's very good for your mental health as well. Just having a break. Sometimes I get home and I'm so tired for whatever happened during the day. And you know what? I just either do workout, do a little bit of yoga, watch shows and not be on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and just ignore my phone for a little bit. That really does help out in the end of the day.
Yes, finding time for self-care is very important. Any profession at this point, life can get pretty crazy, so it's good to make some time. So to wrap up this session, I have one last question for you. Do you have any additional advice for someone interested in this field or job?
I would guess I've gotten a lot of advice in my career, and it's super different from everybody gives you different advice. What I would say is, be passionate about this. Have that passion, have the determination to work, because this job, the great thing about this job is different every day. You don't have a same, day where you just go into the office and come out. This job can change in an instant. So just be passionate about it, having that determination to, I want my story to be the top story of the day. Even if it's not even like something major that you can, the way you sell it, the way you present it, can probably make it the top story of the day. That to me is probably the best advice I have gotten, and that I would probably give to anybody that wants to get in this career.
Ms. Terrazas, thank you again for taking time for this interview. The information that you share with us today is valuable and will definitely impact the lives of those viewing this video. Viewers, if you are interested in learning more about this career, we encourage you to further research this position through Texas Reality Check, ONET, and Career Coach. The links for all of these platforms may be found in our website, wfsolutions.org. Thank you for watching.
All right, so thank you so much for everyone sticking with us. We're running behind schedule. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next presenter without any haste. So next up, we've got Mr. Juan Mendiola, Vehicle Validation Engineer with General Motors. Mr. Mendiola was born and raised in Rio Grande Valley and received her bachelor's degree from the University of Texas Pan American. He has worked for multiple companies like Procter & Gamble, Alps Alpine, and General Motors, and this has allowed him to live in different states within the U.S. His mission is to help out the community and keep on learning.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Hernandez. I'm a Workforce Outreach Specialist with Workforce Solutions. Today with us, we have Juan Mendiola, who's going to give us a little bit of information on his profession. Mr. Mendiola, can you please introduce yourself, your job title, and where you currently work?
Hello, I am Juan Mendiola. I am a validation engineer at General Motors.
So how did you become interested in this occupation?
So it started very early. Around third grade, I started the interest in UIL mathematics, and it just kept escalating there until I finished high school and still continue with UIL mathematics.
What kind of education, training, or background does your job require?
So naturally, being interested in mathematics, I pursued a engineering degree. So obviously having a bachelor's in engineering, even some of the masters in engineering can really help do and perform our job.
What type of engineering degree do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
So I do have a mechanical engineering degree from the University of Texas Pan American.
Okay, and is it helpful? Did it actually help you out in the specific job that you're in right now?
Yes, it really does, because part of my job is validating some of the components inside the vehicles that are going to be sold to customers. So a lot of the mechanics from parts and understanding the physics and the principles that can help you make decisions on the benefit of the customer.
So I know you had mentioned that you were always interested in mathematics and you joined UIL. So when you actually were in high school, did you actually see yourself working with vehicles? Because that's what you do right now as an engineer, right?
Correct. I do work in development, a lot of the new technologies into the vehicles and validating, making sure that, like I said, there's very good quality for our customers. I never anticipated I was going to work in the automotive industry. I did know that I wanted to be in a company that really supported the new ideas, and I really wanted in a company that was emerging in technology. So luckily, I ended up at General Motors.
What skills, abilities, and personal attributes are essential to success in your job? For example, do you have to be good with time management, organizational skills? What type of soft skills do you believe help you out?
So a key skill that I think is very important is like you mentioned, time management. I think overall, the way I work or the way we work in our company is project based. So being able to handle your time, being able to handle different tasks at the same time, and really planning your day to ensure that you have a successful day, week, and overall project.
What about interpersonal skills? Do you have to be good with interpersonal skills when it comes to interacting with others, or is it okay if you're a little bit more reserved?
So there is a skill set and there is different diversity of how people are based on the position that you have. There's many positions that do involve less communication with other people, maybe people running analysis and running over data and math. When I say math, I mean like 3D modeling and things like that. And other people like me, I'm a little bit more extroverted, so I talk a lot with customers, suppliers, and different internal customers also. So there's a place for everybody within the engineering field for sure.
And then for your specific position, do you normally work by yourself or do you work with others?
I work hand in hand with a team, and it is cross-functional, which means there's many. Everybody contributes a certain amount to take the project to success.
So you say that you work in a team. What does your team look like? Who's actually part of your team? Can you name a couple of other occupations or titles that work with you?
So I mainly work with engineers and sometimes with some of the sales personnel. But basically in our product development, when we're launching new technologies, right, we obviously have to keep in mind cost. We have to keep in mind mechanical design, electrical design, software design, vehicle design overall, right? And so there's a lot of different parties that come to the table and participate.
What does a typical day look like for you at work?
So most of my job is project based on new vehicles. So right now I'm working on some of the Silverados that are going to come out in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now. And because they're long-term projects, I go to the office. Right now we're working from home because of COVID. But I would go to the office. We have, based on different projects that are going on, you have meetings in the morning or meetings scheduled, predetermined meetings on a weekly basis. And from every single meeting, you have action items and you follow up on those action items, either data or testing that you have to do, things that will take you to make decisions for you, your team, or your suppliers or customers.
What kind of problems do you encounter when it comes to your role?
There's so I'm more in the, like I said, like in the project side. So I will encounter a lot of I manage risks when it comes to product issues, and I manage a lot of the time for my projects, basically meeting milestones and things like that.
Okay. So what are some of the decisions that you make daily? So if you encounter a problem, is it up to you to solve it on your own, or do you have to consult with others?
That will depend on the issue, but in my case, I have to be able to determine the risk overall for that issue or that timing slip, and present that to a higher team and decide then if it's feasible or not to proceed a certain way.
What do you find the most challenging when it comes to your job?
I think the most challenging part is understanding the overall project development schedule of a vehicle, and there's so many parts in a vehicle and so many designs, so many sometimes issues and things like that, that just knowing everybody in working in a vehicle is very complex, and the way departments work and who to talk to, I think that's one of the biggest challenges. Other than that, as long as you have a good team that is supportive, you will have success in that position.
What about the most rewarding? What do you enjoy the most about your job?
The most rewarding part of my job is going to a dealership and seeing the product that I worked on a year ago, 2 years ago, and seeing it at the showroom and really getting positive compliments from buyers that are out there, and seeing how much they like their vehicle, seeing how much they like, the display that I worked on. So that is very satisfying.
How would you yourself rate success when it comes to your position?
So success in my position would be making sure that you have a good product. First of all, right? We at GM, I think we keep our customer in the center of everything that we do. So making sure that we meet the customer's expectation and surpass that customer expectation. I think that is overall what success is. But if we just talk about a position wise, making sure that the milestones are met whenever they're set, and ensuring that the quality of the product is superb, right? Better than our competitors.
Okay, so that's great. And then is there any opportunities for professional development for somebody that works in the same career that you do?
Yes. Right now in the auto industry is very interesting because there's a big shift. As you know, many companies are going to electric vehicles and autonomous stuff. And because the technology is growing and the interest of people are growing, it is a very good time to be in the auto industry, to be able to learn these technologies and keep on moving forward in your career.
Can you describe your typical work-life balance when it comes to working in your career? Do you have a 50-50? Is it 50-50 when it comes to your work and your personal life? Is it a little bit more 60-40? How does that look for you? And then what do you do to actually try to keep it balanced?
So, like everything, we have to be cognizant of our times, right? At home and at the workplace. But I think overall, I try to keep 50-50. Dedicate my time at work and make sure I have my personal life out of work. I think that sometimes there's times where we got to put a little bit more hours, and there's sometimes that Fridays you might cut it short a little bit to go to a happy hour or something, right? So I think it's a give and take, but it's going to be based on your performance, based on the project schedule, a lot of those things. But I'm very happy where I'm at, and it allows me to do that.
Did you previously work as an engineer with any other company?
Yes, I have worked as an engineer for a company here in Detroit, and I have worked at a company down in Texas, going to Reynosa, Mexico, and I did an internship with Procter & Gamble in Missouri.
Do you believe that that experience helped you out in being able to actually do well in the position that you currently have?
I think naturally, as I'm choosing my career steps, I make sure that the past experiences support and become a foundation of what I want to do next. So yes, all my previous experience has taken me here, and to understand and do well in my current job. And I think that's the way I plan it. I know where I want to go, and I backtrack every single step that I need to do to get there. So I can have a very strong plan.
What would you recommend high school students and college students to do in order to prepare for a career in your field?
So one of the things is I would suggest getting involved in that field as soon as possible, where it means internships, where it means job shadowing. There's so many opportunities out there to start getting engaged in those type of situations. And at the end of the day, it just helps you because it just builds you. It gives you maybe even a different way of thinking when you approach a problem, when you approach another job. And the only thing I could do is, the only thing I could say, just study hard.
So when it comes to studying, do you have any recommendations when it comes to education? Would you recommend for them to actually investigate the types of engineering positions that are available, or actually, like you said, job shadow different types of engineers to see which one is the one that they're more interested in?
I would, part of me, I would look at the future, right? And see how the technology is changing and where we're going, and try to forecast some of those positions that will be available. But at the end of the day, you also want to like your job and love your job. So I would also job shadow or, do internships to ensure that that's the field that you want to go in.
What factors besides education and experience may impact the ability for somebody to work in the position that you work in? So, for example, do they have to have good credit? Was that something that you had to go through? A clean background, availability to travel? I know that for you, for your case, for example, you're not originally from the state that you're currently working. For somebody that's working in or looking to work in the engineering field, do they have to travel for work? Or
depending where you are at, it's gonna depend the amount of jobs that there is, right? Depending on if your state is developing iPhones, right, or manufacturing cars, or doing something else. It's gonna depend on state to state or region to region. But overall, in my experience in the auto industry, I got to travel a lot in my previous positions. Now I'm a little bit more stable, but I relocated, so I'm in Detroit, Michigan now. Well, when I started, I used to travel a lot to Mexico, all the United States, but I was located in the Rio Grande Valley, so it's going to depend on what your career, what you want your career to be, and where you'll see opportunities, right?
What is the best career decision that you've ever made?
The best career decision I've made is to live. This is a tough one because there's many things that I've done, but I think coming to Detroit was one of the biggest career decisions that I've made. In the sense that it has unlocked a lot of possibilities for me to not only job opportunities from company to company, but to learn, right? Like ultimately you want to learn and you want to be up to date in your field to be relevant in your field, right? And just the opportunity to grow, in any way possible, it's amazing. And the way, not only from a job perspective, but in a personal way, being away from home and really experiencing, a professional life out of your house, I think it just developed me a lot.
How do you do it to organize your time?
So I try, from a work perspective, I try to have every item that I want to do, like at a macro level, like a higher level, in my calendar. I have a lot of meetings. I discuss with a lot of people, things that I need to do. I try to put them in my calendar, make sure I don't waste time, doing something else. Of course, it's always with issues or items that come up, it always shifts or whatever, but try to organize it as much as possible. Personal, I know things that I want to do and I just do them.
So I know that you brought up technology a lot and you were encouraging the students to actually research to see what is going to be coming up in the future. What do you read so you could keep up to date with everything that's going on and all the shifts?
So there is a lot of technology and engineering magazines out there. I stay up to date within my company's newsletter. They not only have what we're trying to do, but it has what other automakers are trying to do. And just that gives you a good idea of, future steps, future plans, competition, right? But there's a lot of organizations like ASME, right? That it's a organization dedicated to mechanical engineers and what's coming up and different different topics that are hot.
That you said that are hot?
Yeah, like hot in the market,
Yes. So what do you think are the secrets behind getting to where you've gotten to this point?
I think it's not really. There's no secrets, honestly, and I still feel like I'm very young in my career. But I think just it has a lot of the family values that doing good, performing well. Like just I performed well in my school just because my mom wanted me to, right? And then it just became a norm to trying to do good and trying to do the right thing. Even personal at home. And I think also one item that I see is ownership, taking ownership of your work, your job, in your personal life, taking ownership. I think that really makes the difference between people that really want to succeed and people that you're just looking for a job.
Determination as well, right? I know that you were very determined since a very young age, and I think it's probably gotten you where you are right now because you've never given up.
Yeah.
What current issues and trends in the field should an individual be familiar with, and how to see how they impact them in the position that you're in?
Let me see. Can you repeat that question?
What current issues and trends in the field should an individual be familiar with, and how do they see them impacting the position that you're in?
So, unfortunately, with working for like a public company, right? I think a lot of vehicle sales obviously will hurt the job opportunities there is to people, right? Technology decreasing, that could hurt maybe a computer science or electrical engineer. So just we got to keep in mind that a lot of these companies work on the economy and on different things. So we always have to keep that in mind when trying to make a decision too, right? Luckily, in 2012, I was in university while there was a big crash, right? So a lot of people that had graduated to 2012, even with an engineering degree or sometimes in another field, couldn't find a job, right? I was lucky that I was coming out of college or the last year of college or something like that. The economy started picking up, and that's where I started and got a job after college, right? So, some of those, sometimes we don't think about it, but I think that's very important. Knowing where the technology, like I said, is going, that's very important too. And just staying up to date in the field that you're interested in.
So thinking back to your first job, did it play a role in developing any of the skills that you currently have for this position?
Yes. So my first job that I worked in McAllen, Texas, for a Japanese company, and we had to travel to Mexico. I started with a lot of workload. I started with very complex problems that, as a new grad, it was very difficult for me. But I think it just there was a point where I said I must perform good. I have to do good, and I made the decision to step up my game and really perform, right? And I think I've been using the same mentality ever since, because it did work, right? I come to a new job and says, I got to do good. I don't know everything, and I don't know a lot of the people around me, but I have to do what it takes to do a good job. And I think that really strengthened my my attitude towards new experiences, to new jobs, to difficult situations.
Is there any other last words that you may want to inform the students of? Anything that you may recommend, that way they can do better in their future?
So part of becoming a professional and having a career is not only getting a degree, right? Obviously, good grades and having finished your school can get the foot in the door. But there's many aspects of building a career. And I think from my just off the get-go, just practicing interviews, practicing and making sure you can not get nervous and talk and demonstrate good engineering skills. That will definitely help you a lot. And you also want to have good time management, which is difficult to practice once you're in school, right? And I think one of the, like I mentioned, and I think I already mentioned it, just ownership, just having ownership of work and getting it done. I think that takes people along places.
So when you state ownership, do you mean taking ownership of the good things that you're putting out there and being proud of it? Or do you mean like taking ownership of your mistakes and saying, you know what, I did something wrong, show me how to fix it? Or is it a combination of both?
So, well, actually, I say ownership a little different, actually.
Okay.
When I say ownership is if you get selected to do a job, feel and act as you have to finish it and make it the best ever job you have performed. So, and I think I read that in a book, and that's why Navy SEALs are very, very successful. And a lot of the things they pursue after going through the Navy SEALs, because just extreme ownership over the things they do, right, takes them to be very successful. So I try to practice that in my career. Mistakes, we're always going to make mistakes. We at the end, we are human, but taking ownership of that too, and making sure that you add it to your lessons learned, right, and I repeat it. And I think that's key for success.
Mr. Mendiola, thank you again for taking the time to actually complete this interview. The information that you shared is extremely valuable and will impact the lives of those viewing this video. Guys, if you're interested in learning more about this career or any other careers, we encourage you to explore Texas Reality Check, which will allow you to determine if this career or other careers will actually meet your financial needs in the future. Or you can also explore Texas Career Check, Own It, Career Coach, and other resources available through our wfsolutions.org website, and the link is right here on the site. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and transition quickly. I know we're running out of time. We're scheduled to be here till 11:30. So we're going to go ahead and continue. We're going to switch over to our next speaker, which is Ms. Juanita Baldwin with the TWC Environmental Protection Agency. And let me go and share her bio with you all. Just one moment. So Ms. Baldwin, she's the Education Outreach Coordinator with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. She's a member of the External Relations Team at the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, TCEQ, where she serves as Education and Outreach Coordinator. During her tenure with the agency, Juanita has demonstrated a commitment to talent management by leading HR resources and staff services, as well as recruitment and internships. Her background includes private sector human resources, experience in final services, e-commerce startups, insurance, and information services. Juanita is a proud Longhorn with a bachelor's degree from the University of Texas at Austin. A certified HR professional, Juanita served as president in 2013 of the Austin Human Resource Management Association. When this award-winning chapter was recognized by the Sherm Foundation as the leading contributing chapter in the nation. She is a board member of the Mickey Leland Environmental Internship Corporation, a profit foundation dedicated to helping college students, primarily STEM majors and first gen, launch their careers. Originally from Brownsville, Juanita has deep roots in the Rio Grande Valley and is passionate about growing the next generations of leaders.
And I can hear like every other word. But we'll rock and roll.
I'm interested in this particular, and give us the name of your organization and your title.
Sure. My name is Juanita Baldwin, and I serve as the Education and Outreach Coordinator for what's reputed to be the second largest environmental agency in the world, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ.
Ms. Baldwin, how did you become interested in this particular occupation?
So I first became interested in the work that I do, not growing up and not in college, because I didn't even know what human resources was at the time. But I did have a very strong interest in communications. I was interested in watching news broadcasters, tell the story of what was going on in the world or in our community. So public speaking, I think it was probably sort of ingrained in me, and that laid the foundation for what became a career in human resources that spanned a couple of decades. And most recently, I transitioned from human resources into public relations, or at our agency, we refer to it as external relations.
So, Ms. Baldwin, what kind of education, training, or background does your job require?
Sure. So I'm going to focus quite a bit on human resources. I would say probably within the last 10 years or so, the human resources profession has greatly evolved. So now students can actually get a degree in human resources. Back in the day, it used to be called personnel, and there were no formal degree programs. So I actually have a degree in education with specializations in English and in psychology. And I believe that's really served me well in the HR profession and now in external relations. So any type of public speaking, debate, classes. I remember in high school, I was in UIL competition, and I really think that helped me begin to find my voice. So those, we also have certifications. So we study and we take like a board exam, and then we're certified. So I've had an opportunity to obtain 2 certifications. And what that does is it tells an employer that I've mastered that body of knowledge. So my certifications are PHR, Professional in Human Resources, as well as SHRM, Certified HR Professional.
And what skills, abilities, and personal attributes are essential to success in your field?
Interpersonal skills, I think, are really important. I love to read. I'm curious, so I think curiosity is helpful. Being organized, learning to discern or figure out what are priorities, what's most important, because lots of times what might be someone's urgency may not necessarily be what's really important. So kind of trying to discern, and I think that just comes with experience or practice. Taking the initiative, learning to ask questions. So I read, isn't necessarily someone who has all the answers and believes they have everything figured out. Instead, it's someone who knows what to ask. So I believe that questions have power. So being curious, taking initiative, being organized, interpersonal skills, and you kind of throw all that into the mix like menudo, and you sprinkle on top of everything a desire to want to help. So I have in my DNA from my family, we've been in public service. I'm actually from the Rio Grande Valley. I was born and raised in Brownsville. So I come from a family of public servants in education, state, federal level, et cetera. So I think I grew up kind of with that understanding that we want to serve our community and we want to give back.
So, Ms. Baldwin, what does a typical workday look like for you?
There is no typical, which I love. And especially right now that we're in this pandemic, I don't even believe that there's like a new normal. I try not to even say that. We're just in a different routine. So before we went into quarantine, my weeks, involved a lot of outreach. So basically going out into the community, setting up meetings with other organizations, because my goal is to promote, I work with our college internship program. It's called the Mickey Leland Environmental Internship Program, and it's available for college students. In fact, we have 500 to 600 students who apply from all over the nation and even out of the country for a paid full-time summer internship. So my goal is to get the word out so that other state agencies, private sector, nonprofits, federal agencies, city, state, county are aware of the program. So my schedule involved a lot of meetings, conferences, speaking at events, conducting information sessions. So it's an extrovert. So the quarantine, really, was kind of like a gut punch, because now I'm trying to convert that energy virtually and remotely. So, we're all doing the best we can.
Yes, I definitely agree. So could you tell me what are some of the day-to-day responsibilities of your position? And the follow-up to that is, what are some of the day-to-day problems that you might encounter in your position?
Sure. So day-to-day responsibilities, determining who am I going to reach out to? Who am I going to contact? And I think that really comes with having an understanding of who the stakeholders are. So our stakeholders are individuals who are interested in the work that we do in the program, the internship program. So those could be students at the college level. They could be high school students. Very often it's parents. I get contacted quite a bit by a parent or someone who has a college student on their radar and their universe, and they want to learn more about the internship program so that they can prepare their son, their daughter, their niece, their nephew, their neighbor's college student for the internship program. So it's figuring out who to contact, who the stakeholders are. Another set of stakeholders are universities and colleges, as well as companies who want to fund the events that we hold for our interns. So it's really prioritizing and trying to figure out who to contact at what time during the course of the year. My work, to a great degree, parallels the college semesters. So I do a lot of recruiting and outreach in the fall, have a little bit of break during the holidays, and then it starts right up again when the spring semester comes into play. So we're very heavily recruiting, and then the student applications start coming in. So it's almost like one phase just kind of dovetails into the next. So I think the problems are really opportunities or challenges to figure out, are we getting the word out? Are we reaching those students, especially minorities, women, first generation, and though they constitute the largest volume of those who are applying for the program? Are we getting the word out so that they know about it, whether they're at a historically Black university or they're in the Rio Grande Valley, or they're at the University of Vermont? We have them even applying from Ivy League colleges and even out of the country. It's like the word, with the power of the internet, the word really spread about the program. So I really view all the problems as just opportunities of trying to figure out how to best invest my time.
Thank you. So can you tell me a little bit about a recent project that you worked on?
Yes. So I'm analytical. I enjoy problem solving. I'm very, very big on the soft skills. So using the part of my brain, that taps into creativity. I love, putting disparate ideas or concepts together and seeing them in a new way. So I actually had an opportunity almost as soon as we went into quarantine to work with a project team, a nonprofit here in town, to develop a website. I do not have technical web abilities. So at first it was like super intimidating, like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? And once I started, kind of like weaving my way through the process and the project and understanding my role. So my role basically became something I really enjoy, and that's writing. So I got to write the content and do editing. And also bringing in a little bit of creativity into how we were going to tell the story of the internship program. So this is a website for a nonprofit that we set up to serve as a foundation for the Mickey Leland Environmental Internship Program. And all I can say is within the next month or so, we'll see how well our project team succeeded in making that happen.
Wow, that sounds so interesting. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
So can you tell me a little bit about some of the more rewarding parts or aspects of your day-to-day job? I know you mentioned some of the problems that you encountered, but let's talk a little bit about the most rewarding things that you get to face every day.
Absolutely. I've been affiliated with this college internship program since 2011. And at the start of the summer, when before the pandemic, as we're getting ready for the interns to come on board, I'd look at all of the intern applications that came in. And I personally would read every single one of them, especially the essays, because the essay, it's such an important part of any application. And so I really want to stress that to students and to parents who are listening to this. Really focus on the essay of a scholarship application, any kind of application for a student, because that is what draws in the reader. That's where you want to tell a compelling story and kind of maybe tug at their emotional, strings. So I think one of the most rewarding parts of my job was I'd look at all the applications, and then our managers would start selecting from the 600 plus students who applied. We typically hire about 120, 130, and we place them all over Texas. So that's a huge number. And I'd look at what they sent in, the transcripts, the letters of recommendation, and I view that as potential. And someone else might say, that's paper. It's a lot of paper. It's a lot of documents. Yes, but I see it as unlimited potential. And then as the students start getting selected, then the class or the cohort for the summer starts to form. So we start planning events for these college students in the summer, team building sessions, a full day conference, and anytime I have an opportunity to speak to them, I try to get into the room, the auditorium or the conference room before the session starts, and I look at the tables and I look at the chairs, and they're all empty. And again, I think in just a few moments, this is all unlimited potential, and it's going to be packed with students and with ideas and with energy. And these are our future emerging leaders. So that's a really extensive response to what I get a lot of joy. And I feel that, we as a team, because it takes an entire team at our agency and outside the agency to make the program work. It's basically viewing every student who applies and then who gets hired as an intern as having such tremendous potential. And they're just looking for an opportunity to get prepared, to increase their confidence level, and to get ready to launch their career.
Ms. Baldwin, what other individuals do you work with on a daily basis, on a regular basis?
Sure. So our agency is regarded as a scientific and a technical agency. I mentioned early on, we're reputed to be like the second largest environmental agency in the world, second only to the Environmental Protection Agency. So our mission is clean air, clean water, safe management of waste, pollution prevention. So I get to work with the best of the best. These are scientists, engineers, permit specialists, enforcement coordinators. We are a regulatory agency. So basically, we ensure that every entity, every business in the state of Texas that emits anything into the air, the water, or the soil, that they're doing it. And so in my role, I get to work within the agency with these technical and scientific professionals, with their managers, with their directors, their deputies. I get to interact with the commissioners of our agency. Our agency is run by 3 commissioners appointed by Governor Abbott. So interacting and with them, they are big champions of this diverse internship program. Also with colleges, universities, college students, professors, faculty, and as I mentioned earlier, with parents as well, who are just really invested in the future of their children.
And can you describe a typical work-life balance in this field?
So necessarily possible in the work that I was doing in human resources. I was very heavily recruiting, and I did that for a number of years, talent management. And now that I'm in external relations promoting the program, there's still quite a few outreach opportunities as well. So I think the balance really comes not so much in having work and personal balance and really being in a quarantine situation, the lines between work and personal life, I don't know about you, Irene, but they feel like they've gotten really blurry because, it's the end of the day and I'm still on the laptop, or I have an idea and I'll open up the laptop. So one of the things I'm learning and I'm finding is that during the day, I need to become better about taking a break. Maybe it's a walk break. Maybe it's a 10-minute power nap in my home office, whatever it takes so I can recharge, re-energize, and bring that same level of commitment that I did when I was in the work office here in Austin.
Well, thank you for those tips and that information. I think that takes a lot of self-awareness and self-care, really, to be able to make sure that we don't blur those lines. So what would you recommend to students in high school or going into college, or maybe even middle school students that are considering an occupation or a career in your particular field? What would you recommend to them if they would like to go into your field of work?
Sure. So I would absolutely say take a self-assessment. Like ask yourself, what courses do I really like? Like what are the courses where when the class is over, I'm like, oh man, I wish I could be learning from this teacher or this instructor, or this professor a little bit more. Or it's the kind of course where it prompts you, the student, to want to do your own research because you want to learn more about that too. Curious. So I would say start with what you're curious about. Be super observant. There's someone in the entrepreneurial world who I follow. He has a blog, he has a website. I've heard him speak a couple of times, and he's phenomenal because he talks about being really observant when you're out there in public. And I think that's another lesson that I'm learning during the pandemic. And it's reading the few times, that I go out, with a mask and gloves and stuff, and I'm taking all the precautions, but observing and paying attention to what are the problems that are emerging right now. So that's something else I would recommend to students. Look around in your neighborhood. What are your neighbors, your community? What's a big deal? Is it food insecurity right now? Is it not having enough protective, equipment, masks, etc.? I know with the pandemic, racial issues that have, emerged more so than I've ever seen nationally and globally. There's so many different issues that are coming to play that I would recommend that students find a source of news that you trust, whatever that is, whatever television station, radio station, news station. I remember when I was growing up, I learned Spanish because my grandfather would get the newspaper delivered in Spanish, and he would have me read the headlines in Spanish, and then he'd say, sí, quiero oír más de eso, quiero aprender más. Yes, I want to learn more about that. Or he'd say, no, eso no me interesa. No, I'm not interested in that. So that's how I was in junior high. That's how I learned how to read Spanish, and I learned to be able. So I think being curious, being observant, finding a source of news that you trust. If you're interested as a student in public speaking, absolutely get involved in debate, UIL. I don't know if drama is available remotely. I would hope before too long, because that's going to increase your sense of confidence and help you find your voice as you continue, to build on your education.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. So how would you say you organize your time? Now in this new virtual world, it's so different. How do you organize your time, your day?
So multiple ways. I'm using my phone and the notes application on my phone a lot. And I set up, different alarms, different ringtones, etc. I'm still old school in that I have a planner, a paper planner, because it gives me such satisfaction, Irene, just jotting tasks and duties down and checking them off. There's just something, so tangible about, yep, I got that done. Or I need to move that to next week or tomorrow because I need more information, more data, etc. I think the other thing I'm learning is because we're not together in an office setting where I can just go down the hall, go to another floor, another building, pop into somebody's office and ask a question, or say we're going to take a coffee break together. Now I need to be very intentional and very mindful of people's time, because if I'm contacting them, chances are they're in their home office. And if they're a parent, they may be charged with homeschooling their children. They might be a caregiver for an elderly parent. So they could have a lot of things going on. So I think now I'm being a lot more mindful about, so that it's okay not to get things done perfectly right now. I believe we're doing the best we can. And that.
Well, thank you. So what do you think are the secrets behind getting to where you feel like you have to go?
I'm sorry, could you ask that one more time?
Absolutely. What do you think are the secrets behind getting to where you've got to go?
And I think our connection is not very stable because I heard every other word.
Sure. Well, my question is, what do you feel is the secret to getting to where you feel like you need to go in your career?
Sure. I would say now, persistence, having a vision or having a focus, and then coming up with an action plan, because an idea is just an idea. It's a vision, and it doesn't have any legs or foundation without a game plan. So if I were in junior high or high school, I would have a goal. And hopefully that goal includes going to college. Even if right now you're a high school or a college student and you haven't figured out yet what your major is, that's okay. You don't have to have it all figured out. I know that a college expects for you to declare a major. So maybe you declare a major in an area that's of interest to you, whether maybe it's science or business, the environment, computer science, liberal arts, history, whatever it is. And then, so you're focused on that. That's like your North Star. That's what you're aiming at. Then you come up with a game plan. So one of the things that I talk to our interns, our college students a lot about is you want to start to build a portfolio. And I don't think it's ever too early to do that. So here's my pitch to all the students and the parents listening out there. Right now is the time for the student to start building the portfolio. So here's what I mean by that. You want to include, certainly when you're in high school, draft a resume. And maybe what you have on there, maybe it's you were in leadership positions for different organizations. Maybe you worked and you did volunteer work for your community, your church, your school, other organizations in the city. Especially right now during the pandemic, there's such need right now to volunteer. So a resume, really important. A sample of your writing, that's important. If you've written an essay or a report, have a subset or an excerpt from that. So that's part of your portfolio. That's a writing sample. You also want to start building credibility. If you're babysitting, and that's how you're earning money. Maybe you're mowing the lawn for your neighbors. Maybe you're working fast food or retail. You know what you're doing? You're getting customer service skills. So you want to build some references and get letters of recommendation. Those go in your portfolio. And you can maintain all of this electronically. So you just set up a file, and you have all of these documents that you're including in that portfolio. And I don't think it's ever too early to start. Your transcript is part of that portfolio as well. So I think having a focus, having a game plan of how you're going to get there, building a portfolio. And I think the other thing that I didn't really know about when I was in high school or even college that I'm hearing about a lot these days. You want a mentor. You want someone, whether it's a professor, maybe it's someone in the community, maybe it's someone you've read about or heard about, and you think, wow, what they do is super cool. It's so interesting. I want to learn more about it. Or maybe that's something I want to do in my career. Reach out to them, contact them, ask them for 15 minutes of their time on the phone and have some questions ready for them. And if possible, maybe you want to ask them boldly, would they be interested in being a mentor for you? And a mentor is someone who's going to champion you, who's going to teach you a couple of things that it's never too early to start.
All right, guys, I apologize. I'm had to cut Ms. Baldwin off. She still has about 12 more minutes. It's 11:30. So I want to be considerate of your time. I know we've got you till 11:30. You've got plans, or you're in class, or you've got other classes you have to attend. So we want to be considerate. Now, all the videos, if you're a teacher, you're a student, all of these videos with employers will be on our website, available to you on demand after Thursday. So starting Friday, reach out to us through your teacher or through us, through our email directly. If you'd like to see a video or if you'd like to have one sent to you for your class, please let us know. It's there for you to use. Again, I apologize to Ms. Baldwin. She was doing some awesome work talking about mentorships and internships and all the things that need to go into it. But again, being considerate of your time, it's 11:31. I know we're running till 11:30, so I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. Tomorrow, we have on this particular link, you should be able to, once you've registered today, click on that link tomorrow. It should bring you back to this. You do not have to re-register. Tomorrow, we have 3 presentations on healthcare and 2 on law enforcement. We've got some professors, some physicians, assistants. We've got the sheriff's deputies. We've got the Honorable Judge Renee Rodriguez that's going to be on with us. Some of those employers will actually be on the call to answer your questions live. So again, I apologize. Today, we ran a little bit behind schedule. We ran into some difficulties, but thank you so much for being on today. We appreciate you taking your time. And if you have any questions, we've noted those down and we'll get you some answers. And we'll send them out to you either directly through your emails that you've shared with us at registration or to your teachers. Again, thank you so much for joining us on day 1 of Careers Texas Industry Careers Youth Day. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you. What the heck? Work do you do now? How much your boss tells you what to do? Work do you do to how much your boss tells you what to do? Is it true that Chevy copied? That's a great question. Great question. Copy